UCLA, number 85. Dokie Williams, number 2 in the NFL in kickoff returns, better than 27 yards a pop, and he will have a chance here from the 6-yard line. We're underway. Across the 28, out near the 29, and he is down there. So the Raiders with excellent field position to begin the ball game. For Los Angeles, this is the way the offense is set with a line. Wilson at quarterback. The running backs, Marcus Allen, Kenny King. The receivers, Cliff Branch, Malcolm Barnwell, and the tight end, Todd Christensen. The offensive line, Bruce Davis, Kurt Marsh, Dave Dalby, Mickey Marvin, and Henry Lawrence, a pair of guards who did not start the 1984 season.
Well, Phil, the big thing today is going to be how long this field stays up in the condition it's in right now. As we talked about earlier in the game, earlier in the pre-talk, this is a very, very poor field today. It's going to be really crucial how long this field stays in good condition. There's a flag already.
It was intended for Malcolm Barnwell. Barnwell did not practice until midway through this week. He's had a lacerated foot. Here's the defensive alignment for the ball for the Indianapolis Colts. Donnell Thompson, Leo Wisniewski, and Blaze Winter. We'll be watching Winter, a very emotional rookie. The linebackers, Cooks, Odom, Krause, and Vernon Maxwell. And take a look at the defensive secondary, and believe me, Wilson and company will challenge those rookies all day long. Preston Davis, Eugene Daniel, Mark Kofensis, and Nesby Glasgow, the free safety. It is first down. Pass interference against Indianapolis. From the 34-yard line, Wilson all the time in the world. That's Marcus Allen.
Well, he sure can make you miss in a hurry. Marcus Allen. Great acceleration. The thing that makes him so great and is very vivid was in that Super Bowl run when he changed direction. Now watch this pass out of the backfield. Wilson's got a lot of time. He just dumps it over here to 32. Now watch this little move right here. He makes it right there. Now he just about stops on a dime. He can change direction with the best of them.
Marcus Allen, 5th in the AFC in receiving. And one of his teammates, wearing number 46, Todd Christensen, 3rd in the conference.
The thing that's been so interesting about the Raiders that I've seen, the real tendency is that they have not gone downfield for the long bomb. Their passes are in the 15, 16-yard range, I should say, rather than the long throws that they've lived and died with. The days of Darryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber, Kenny Stabler, now Mark Wilson, and, of course, Jim Plunkett. But they're not going downfield like that anymore. It's a run.
There you look at Marcus's numbers this year, just rushing the football, 10 touchdowns, add another 4 through the airways, 14 TDs for Allen. The team record is 16, held by Art Powell and Pete Banaszak. Powell all the way back to 63. On 1st and 10 from the 45. There's the pitch, student body left for Allen. To the midfield, striping down there, a flag thrown at the 40-yard line.
Well, that's a bad flag for the Raiders because it's going to be holding on Kenny King, number 33. When he came out to make his initial block, it looked as if he almost tackled the defensive back that came up to force the play.
Referee for today's game, Gordon McCarter. He will march it off. He's the one in the black hat.
He's going to tell us exactly what happened here in a second.
Holding, number 87, offense, repeat first down.
Yeah, they got your old teammate.
Oh, the ghost, Dave Casper. I thought you couldn't see ghosts.
It's amazing to me that they taught holding back at Notre Dame 11 years ago. First down, 1st and 20 now from the 35-yard line. Wilson will put it in the air. All the time in the world. Barnwell has it and is hit instantly. Preston Davis, the rookie out of Baylor.
Boy, this is a crucial catch. Watch Barnwell. We watch the tail end of this. Just as that ball gets hit to his hands, he gets hit. This is what it takes to really play in this game. You'll see him in the bottom of your screen. Now watch the collision. Just as he gets... It's amazing he held on to that ball.
A gain of 7 yards on the play. It will be 2nd down and 13 now from the 42-yard line. Barnwell splits wide to the right. Cliff Branch goes wide to the left at the top of your screen. Christensen near the first down, but he'll be stopped short. Cliff Odom, 4th year out of Texas, Arlington on the tackle. A gain of 12. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
You'll see Christensen coming from the left part of your screen on a crossing pattern. He's one-on-one with Cliff Odom. The speed of Christensen, of course, we know he has 60 catches now. Unbelievable career he's had here after being a cast-off. It's hard to believe they reclaimed him here.
Well, you see Christensen trail Ozzie Newsome with only 5 catches for the lead in the AFC coming into this ball game. Hawkins has the first down to the Indianapolis 44-yard line where Barry Krause puts a stop to it. Oh, Dave, what a year Barry Krause is having.
Oh, he's having an outstanding year. I was really amazed at the number of tackles that Barry Krause has been in on. He's been on 126 tackles. Unbelievable. But
there's that graphic we spoke of just a moment ago.
Well, with that catch, of course, it brought him up to 60. And look who's ahead of him, John Stallworth.
Stallworth, of course, had 3 touchdowns earlier today, and the Steelers romp over the San Diego Chargers.
That's some pretty tall company to be in. I saw Mark Duper in that group, too. That's some pretty tall company.
A first down at the 44. Play action. Wilson wants to go for the flag. Looking for Dokie Williams. Williams had 5 catches last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, 1 for a touchdown. And Wilson simply overthrew him as he was running man for man with Eugene Daniel and Nesby Glasgow. There you see a surprise. The Rams by 1 over Tampa Bay.
That was a real defensive struggle, 34-33. How about that one there? Cincinnati really coming on strong the last part of the season, 35-14 over Atlanta.
And look at Cleveland. Yeah, they put one on the Oilers, 27-10. Now for the Browns, only their 4th victory of the year. Houston now drops to 2-11. Second down and 10. Kenny King, Marcus out on the setbacks. And Wilson will go down. Johnny Cooks and Cliff Odom left the charge.
It's real easy to see who made it. You see everybody slapping number 98's hands, Johnny Cooks. I was just about to say that the Colts are not getting a lot of pressure on Wilson, but this time they came with the schoolhouse. You see Krause in there. There's Johnny Cooks, number 98, breaking through. You can see 93, Odom. They brought the whole schoolyard up there to make that pressure and tackle.
Now for Johnny Cooks, 5.5 sacks now on the year. They've Indianapolis over the last 2 games. There you look at it, 12 sacks. They had 6 last week in the thrashing they took from Tony Eason and the New England Patriots. What a catch, almost, for Marcus Allen. Thrown high. George Radichowski in the neighborhood. It'll be a punting situation for Ray Guy on the Raiders.
On this pass, Allen almost decides to run before he has the ball. You can see the ball is well thrown. It's a catchable ball, a little bit high, but he's looking it down quickly, and you can watch the disappointment on his face and his hands there. Why do they always slap their hands when they miss the ball?
Ray Guy is on. 12-year veteran out of Florida State.
Bill, I saw an interesting stat on Ray Guy. He's kicked in the National Football League for over 21 miles of yards.
I think I said Florida State. Of course, Guy out of southern Mississippi. Fumble! And I think the Raiders have recovered the ball at the 15-yard line.
What a heads-up play by the Raiders. You can see the catch there. It's just bobbled. Now look how fast the coverage comes in there. He barely has time to even reach down. Now here comes the coverage, a dive for it. You just sell all out in that situation. What a great, great coverage.
James Davis on the recovery, and the Raiders, who have been victimized by turnovers all year long, take advantage of one here.
Boy, don't you know that hurts Frank Kush, because his team is a young team, and they just cannot have turnovers like that and stay competitive in a game against a team like the Raiders, the world champion Raiders.
That's Allen. Big hole left side, and he runs down near the 11-yard line. He is spilled there by Blaze Winter and Barry Krause.
I will say this, Phil, in the times that I've seen the Colts play this year, they have never quit. I watched a game against Pittsburgh when they just battled and battled and battled and finally came back and won, and I would be very surprised to see this team quit. They're a team that really epitomizes the attitude of their coach, and that's an all-out effort all the time. They just never quit on defense.
Well, they have yet to see the football in this ball game. The Raiders took the kickoff, and they have owned it ever since. Again, Allen, right side. But this time the Colts stuff it up at the 7-yard line. Donnell Thompson, fourth year out of North Carolina, drops him.
Oh,
the Giants have come back to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It was really a must-win for New York.
Certainly was. That's the first time they've been in contention, really. Look at that score there. Washington really rolled it up over Buffalo, 41-14.
Here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, 3rd down and 2 from the 8-yard line. No score, 10 minutes, 8 seconds to play, first quarter. Mark Wilson, the quarterback. All the time in the world. Touchdown, Los Angeles. Christensen.
Well, it's a 7-yard touchdown pass. Mark Wilson really throws this ball, and you can see Christensen in the center of your screen just does a simple turn-in pattern. The ball was thrown very well. It had to be a bullet to get in there in between the defenders, and Wilson really delivered on that ball.
For Christensen, his 6th touchdown of the year, his 60th catch of 1984. Chris Barr on to try and tack on the point after, and he is perfect through the uprights. Clock stops. 9 minutes, 58 seconds to play in the first quarter, and the Raiders have drawn first blood at the Coliseum.
It really doesn't tell. That's after they recovered the ball, but they went only 3 plays, 15 yards after the penalty. After the fumble, but they're right on top now.
Thanks to a pass from Mark Wilson to Todd Christensen. Chris Barr is on to kick it away. There you go. Seattle leading Denver early first quarter at Mile High.
How about one big play of 80 yards from Craig to David Turner for that score?
Bill Smith. Flag is thrown in. Smith returns it to the 18-yard line. A flag is down.
Well, I think there's 2 flags down. It looks as if there's going to be one that's going to be offsides on the kicking team, and the other one is, I believe, would be against the Colts.
That is the situation here at the Coliseum. The Raiders, just a moment ago on a 7-yard pass to Christensen, lead this one 7-0.
Offside, number 57, kicking team. Holding, number 29, receiving team. Penalties offset, re-kick.
Now they'll re-kick it. Dave, we talked during NFL 84 how important this game is to Tom Flores' Raiders.
Oh, boy, this is really where the nitty-gritty meets the road. They have got to win their last 4. They really control their own destiny. If they do win the last 4, then they don't have to worry about anyone else helping them out. But they've got a tough schedule. They've got to play Miami. I think they've got to play Detroit and, of course, Pittsburgh. And going into Pittsburgh, here at Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh would like nothing more than to beat the Raiders.
And, of course, the Dolphins and the Lions games are on the road next Sunday and the following Monday on December 10th. There you look at Frank Kush. He certainly had high hopes for his Colts here in 1984, but early on, his offensive line crumbled.
Oh, he has lost more players on his offensive line. Baldischweiler got hurt. Hinton broke his leg. Wade Griffin was unable to come back. They've just been decimated with injuries.
So offsetting penalties, and the Raiders will put it in play again. Chris Barr will tee it up at the 35-yard line.
Phil, there's an interesting statistic on a kickoff like this. When a team is offside like this and the kickoff team has just run 50 or 60 yards down, you want to take a lot of time to get them a breath of air. Usually a receiving team will return it much better the second time.
Larry Anderson. It'll be Phil Smith a yard deep, and here he comes. And he won't get very far as the Raiders cover the kick well at the 15-yard line. Here comes the offensive unit of the Indianapolis Colts. And the clock stops with 2 minutes, 42 seconds to play in the first period. And the Raiders, on a pass from Mark Wilson to Todd Christensen, lead it 7-0. Minutes, 42 seconds to play, first quarter. Phil Stone along with Dave Rowe here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, and the Indianapolis Colts will get their first look at the football in this game.
I'll bet you Mr. Schleister's eyes are going to be real wide on this series because he's starting inside his 20-yard line, on the 15-yard line, and you cannot make a mistake in this situation, Mr. Schleister.
McMillan and Dickey are the running backs. McMillan loses the football and then covers it. Dives ahead to the 16, a gain of maybe a yard. Mike Davis pounces on him. There's Schleister starting his second game in the NFL. Curtis Dickey, McMillan, the setbacks. The receivers, Butler, Porter. The tight end today is Tim Sherwin. Ted Peterson, newly acquired from the Steelers, will start at left tackle. Kirchner. Donaldson, the rookie, is Ron Solt. The right tackle is Jim Mills. And the Raiders defensively, Long, Kinlaw, Alzado. There you look at the linebackers, and what a tremendous group of defensive backs for L.A. Hayes, Haynes, Davis, and McElroy. Second down and 9, Indianapolis. Again, sweep right. It is Dickey. Dives to the 20-yard line, and he took Mike Davis with him.
Been an awful lot of speculation as to the health of Curtis Dickey. He's been complaining all year of a sore knee. I'm sure after the season they'll go and look at that knee very, very drastically.
Well, there was talk early last week that they might go ahead and perform arthroscopic surgery.
Well, it's either scope him or start him. Well, he had a good practice day on Wednesday, and I think they really ran him hard just to see how well his knee was, and he did run very well, so they decided not to scope him, and they're starting him.
Third down and 5 at the 20. And this time it is Randy McMillan driving his way across the 22 near the 23. Reggie Kinlaw, who did not play last week, starting today, brought him to the turf. A punting situation on 4th down and 1. Now Denver is on the board. A field goal in the first period, now trailing the Hawks 7-3.
It's going to be interesting to see. We've got a very strong wind here. It is swirling in the Coliseum, but it's going to be interesting to see how far Ron Stark kicks this ball. He really gets it up in the air, as is evidenced by that average, 44.6 yards.
Now, Stark was a second-round draft choice back in 1982. He was the highest punter since Russell Erxleben went in 1979 to the New Orleans Saints. Greg Pruitt fields it at the 39. A 4-yard return out near the 43, and the Raiders with superb field position now with 7:29 to play in the first period. 7 minutes and 29 seconds to play here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Raiders with the football at their own 43-yard line. St. Louis down Philadelphia 17-16, as you heard Bob Costas say on NFL 84. Ron Jaworski, a broken leg, he is out for the year. And Pittsburgh danced a number all over San Diego, 52-24. Fouts had to leave the game with a groin injury. All the time in the world, Wilson unloads to Marcus Allen. A flag is down. It will unquestionably be offensive holding. Johnny Cooks brought Allen down.
Unquestionably holding?
Where that flag was thrown, is there any other call?
It was thrown right into an offensive lineman, just about into his face, so I thought it was holding too. Well, they just got Frank Hawkins there.
Guess who it's against?
Holding, number 27, offense, repeat, first down.
He told him, he said, Frank, you cannot reach out and grab like that. Let's see if we can see Frank Hawkins. He's to the left of your screen. Maybe we see him come in here, but he does grab. That's what they were. Well, let's see, right? No, we didn't really see it, but he did grab. It's awfully hard for those offensive backs to step up in that hole and to take on those linebackers that are on a dead run right down their throat.
From the 33-yard line, it is now 1st and 20. That is Barnwell in motion. Play action. Wilson, an end-over-end pass intended for Barnwell. Good coverage by the rookie out of Baylor, Preston Davis. Speaking of Baylor, what a victory for Mr. Davis's alma mater yesterday.
Oh, boy, they came through and beat Texas. That really threw that conference into who's going to go to the Orange Bowl. I mean, excuse me, the Cotton Bowl.
So now it's 2nd down and 20. Now, the last time these two teams met, you go back to 1977. You were a member of that Raider organization.
I certainly was, and you can see down the bottom there, double overtime. We went 6 quarters before we sent Dave Casper to the post. The ghost to the post.
There's Marcus. Tries to hurdle number 25, Nesby Glasgow, and does not get much.
That was an unbelievable day. I'll never forget that. It was cold. It was in December. We came in there, and it was just what a struggle it was. We just kept on fighting back and forth, went into the 5th quarter, went into the 6th quarter, and finally Dave Casper walked up and came in the huddle and said, Stabler, he said, Snake, I can beat him to the post. Stabler unleashed a pass to the post. Casper went in just like it was nothing. We went on to, well, of course, we lost the next week to Denver, but boy, I'll tell you, those were great days.
Well, were you happiest if you won the football game, Dave, or just at the fact you didn't have to work anymore?
Well, I was so happy it was over. I was really tired.
Third down in a bunch. Wilson to Christensen. Fights off Glasgow on his feet to the 47-yard line. A 12-yard gain. George Radichowski brings him down.
Boy, is Todd Christensen dangerous once he receives the ball. He's got the strength, the 230 pounds, just about flip off those defensive backs. Watch this catch here. He catches the ball, comes out late. Now watch number 40 come into your picture. Look right there. He just throws Nesby Glasgow off the block. I'll tell you, he has got tremendous strength. It's hard to believe that they casted him off at Dallas. He came here, a reclamation project here for Al Davis and the Raiders.
Here's Ray Guy on 4th down and 6. A beauty. And what in the world is Larry Anderson fair catching inside the 6-yard line? A 47-yard punt. And you can be sure that Frank Kush will have a word with Mr. Anderson.
Well, they always tell the punt returners, when you stand on the 10-yard line and it goes over top of your head, don't back up. When you're standing on that 10-yard line, you never back up. But we've got a flag down here. Now watch the referee on the right side of your screen here. I think we see the referee. Boy, yeah, we see him underneath there. He's in that striped suit right there.
That was Otis McKinney, who ran over him like a bullet train. So the clock stops with 5:42 to play. Penalty against Los Angeles.
Internal lineman illegally downfield, number 30 on the kicking team. Repeat, 4th down.
Well, Stacy Torin, an interior lineman on the punt team for the Raiders, was downfield a bit too early. So the Colts get a break.
Well, don't you know Ray Guy hates to lose a 50-yard punt. He really got that thing. If it just about brought another rainstorm when as high as that ball was. I looked out, and I could see that ball level with our booth here, so I knew it was up there. But now he's going to get an opportunity to kick a 55-yarder.
And Anderson is the only guy back at his own 16-yard line. Good snap. Guy all the time in the world puts another one in the jet stream. Anderson backs up on the 9-yard line. Tries to juke step a few of the guys in black and silver, and there you see the head cheerleader. A 45-yard punt. Clock stops, 5:30 to play. Next Saturday, the PBA Fall Tour continues its ball. Now, Mr. Schleister has his work cut out for him to try and get an offense that has been very spongy all year long untracked here. Out of the eye. That's Dickey. He won't get much. Reggie Kinlaw, the nose tackle, stuffs up the middle.
Well, they have got to come out and throw a pass to loosen up this Raider defense. The Raiders have got 9 men inside the 5-yard line. They are really coming up on the ball because the field position that Indianapolis is in. I'm not going to say Baltimore this week, but the field position that Indianapolis is in warrants running. And Schleister has got to come back and pump a ball to loosen up this Raider defense.
Of course, he's going to have to throw, David, against the defensive secondary, one of the very best in all of football, guys by the name of Haynes, Hayes, Davis, and McElroy.
Well, I don't know where there's a weak spot in that secondary. They have probably the finest 4 defensive backs that play this game as a group.
Well, Schleister has called a timeout for Indianapolis. He will talk things over with Frank Kush and company. Clock stops with 4:52 to play. And the Raiders holding on to a 7-0 lead thanks to a fumbled punt by Indianapolis. Thank you very much, Vin Scully, for that report. The Golden Bear can still burn the wood, as Lee Trevino would say, Dave.
I'll tell you, if I was winning $240,000 in one hole, you'd see a lot of emotion on me, too.
In motion, Tracy Porter. It is 2nd down and 8. Schleister's first pass. A little flare to Porter. But he does not fool Lester Hayes. A flag is down.
That may be the inadvertent face mask. It's going to be interesting to see what they call here because Lester Hayes had him just as he caught the ball. Boy, Lester plays tight man-to-man coverage. Wow.
Now you called it, Dave Rowe. An inadvertent face mask out of bounds at the 15-yard line. It'll still be 2nd down, but tack on another 5 yards. Let's listen.
Face mask penalty, 5 yards. Number 37 defense. It is still 2nd down.
Well, the one thing you don't want to lose is lose him on this. You can see Lester come in there. It isn't a blatant face mask, which is 15 yards. It's just a hand raked across the face mask. It was really kind of an insignificant face mask, but it is a 5-yard penalty. It's going to bring down 2nd and 2 yards. It's a good down if Mr. Schleister wanted to go to a pass now.
I remember a guy who wore the horseshoe on his helmet by the name of Unitas. This was his play. Second and short, he would go for it all. That is Curtis Dickey, and he will be stopped short by Darrell Byrd, who is starting his first game at inside linebacker for Los Angeles.
Well, that's where the Colts think that they can run, according to the plays that they've selected so far, is against Darrell Byrd, but they have not run well. Look at that, held them to 20. The defense of the Raiders held the Chiefs to 20 yards rushing last week. And another interesting statistic that's not up there is that they did not convert 1 third down into a first down.
And the Chiefs had 11 opportunities to convert a third down. What's interesting about holding the Chiefs last week to 20 yards rushing, Dave, is that is not a Raiders record. Back in 1972, they held the Broncos to 13 yards. And there comes Randy McMillan, and again he runs into number 5-4, Darrell Byrd, very close to a first down. The Raiders are saying he didn't get it.
Oh, it's going to be
Colts
close.
are saying he did, and Gordon McCarter agrees. It is a first down for the Colts, their first of the ball game. And we have 3:57 to play in the first quarter. Now that score at Mile High, Dave, still stands. The Hawks over Denver 7-3. Nothing at the Superdome in New Orleans. The 49ers and the Saints, and Chicago out in front of Minnesota 7-3. The Axe picked the Vikings in that ball game.
I watched that, and you know who he picked in this game, don't you?
He said take the Colts and the points. Play action, Schleister. Porter's wide open, and Schleister overthrows him. Mike Davis was 2 steps behind Tracy Porter.
Well, he certainly wanted to go long on this pass. He had a lot of time, but the long pass was double covered, and he had to come off. It was a good read by him because he didn't get the pass that he wanted to throw. He came off to number 83, Sherwin, and it was just wide thrown to him, but it was a good read by Art Schleister. And that's so important for him right now. You know, it's hard to believe where he was a year ago, Phil. That young man has come a long way, and I'll tell you, I don't think anybody's prouder of what he's done than most of these teammates on the Colts team, and of course the fans. Everybody's behind him 100%.
Second down and 10 now from their own 23. Little cross buck. It is Dickey, and it does not fool Greg Townsend, second year out of TCU.
I believe we're getting an indication that they can't run there. Now, they've gone there 6 or 7 times towards Howie Long. As you said, Greg Townsend, number 93. Brad Van Pelt is over there, and Darrell Byrd. And I don't believe they've gotten over 1 or 2 yards a run there.
I think I'd be picking a different spot. Last week, Howie Long had a season against the Chiefs. And Greg Townsend, when he did spell Mr. Long, also played exceptionally well. But, of course, overall, you look at the Raiders' defense, and that says it all right there.
That's right. That's the ranking that counts. Second in this league.
Out of the I formation, in motion, Matt Booza. Now he comes back this way. Schleister on 3rd and 9. Pressured. There's Porter. On his feet to the 47-yard line, and he covers the football. Mike Haynes on the tackle, a gain of 24 yards for Indianapolis and Art Schleister.
And what a great poise by Schleister back in the pocket. Gets a lot of pressure coming from the left part and the right part of your screen. Really threw that ball well in between the seam. To watch Tracy Porter turn it on, he almost lost it here. Look how the Raiders tackle the ball at the end. They tackle the ball, they pulled it off, but that was Howie Long that gave him the real pressure. Watch how Howie Long fights off those blockers. You never get into his body. Hey, that's why he's an all-pro year after year.
Long ran around Mark Kirchner like he wasn't even on the playing field. On first down, Randy McMillan met in the backfield by Alzado. Brad Van Pelt also there.
Hello. Lyle Alzado. How many more years do you think he'll play like he's
20?
20? Well, he'll beat me because I only lasted 13. But that was a real hello there.
He'll play another 20.
Oh, another 20. Yeah, that's right. He's played 14 already.
14th year out of Yankton. You suppose the people at Yankton remember Lyle Alzado?
First player ever drafted out of Yankton, and I don't know if there's been another one, of course. Now, where is that school? I'm going to ask you that. Do you know where it is? Of course, it's in South Dakota, isn't it?
South Dakota. Schleister. Howie Long. Tremendous pressure on Schleister. Art was looking for Tracy Porter. I think he just threw the football away. He had to hear Long coming.
Oh, you could hear those footsteps in the distance. The hardest thing for a quarterback is when you set up and you can hear that defensive back coming, that defensive lineman coming from your backside. You can't see him. And boy, oh boy, did Howie Long rush him.
Schleister has always been, Dave, a very emotional quarterback during his years at Ohio State. Well, I'll tell you, he used to really get on the case of a lot of wide receivers who didn't run their routes the way they were supposed to be run. And quite frankly, that has been a problem with the Colts over the last couple of years. They do not run consistent pass patterns.
Absolutely. Bernard Henry, of course, their leading receiver last year, has had a big stigma this year that he doesn't run disciplined patterns. And if you don't run disciplined patterns, you cannot run concentrated super offense. You just don't run well if you don't run the right pattern.
Intended for Tracy Porter, almost found Rod Martin. He got his hand on the ball. The flag is thrown where Martin and Porter collided.
Well, Mike Davis is there trying to say it's an offensive, and he got it. He said it was an offensive pick, offensive interference. It's a pick play where they actually try to wipe the defensive back off. They try to do a pick just like a basketball pick. You come down and you stop short and let the defensive player run into you.
I had no idea Mike Davis was a lawyer. Boy, he pleaded his case well in that court.
Yes, he made his point, and it was well understood, and they got the call.
So Ron Stark on 4th down and 11 with 58 ticks remaining in the first quarter is on to punt it away. His second punt of the ball game. Stark's longest punt this year, 72 yards.
Well, he's been bothered for the last 2 or 3 weeks with a sore ankle, which may be the cause of that poor punt in the first quarter.
Greg Pruitt, there you see his numbers, almost 9 yards a return. Good punt, not much pressure. And Stark puts this one up the chute. Pruitt will let it go. Or will it go? Oh, what a bounce for Indianapolis down at the 4-yard line. A 49-yard punt, and the Raiders, for the first time today, will begin deep in their own end.
Well, this is probably the biggest series for the Colts. You can see the ball takes the sideward bounce. Pruitt steps up. He realizes, he's the old veteran, he realizes that you don't field that ball inside the 10. You let it take that bounce, but it takes a sideways bounce. Now, the important thing is that the Colts, as we watch Radachowski down the ball, is that the Colts come out with their defense fired up and they stop them. Don't allow them to get out of this territory. Don't allow them to get out of the 3-down territory. They'll get the ball. If they can hold them here, they'll get the ball well within the 50-yard line, and they'll have excellent field position, something that they haven't had this game so far.
Most clubs would run in this area. I like Allen on swing passes, but this time it is Kenny King. He won't get much as he juke steps his way across the 6. Donnell Thompson on the tackle. Well, the Colts defensive line, Thompson, Leo Wisniewski, and the rookie out of Syracuse, Blaze Winter, they have played exceptional football over the last couple of weeks.
They certainly have, and they're all young. 3 years for Wisniewski, rookie for Winter, 4 years for Donnell Thompson. They've got the front 7 that they have with Cooks, Odom, Krause, and Maxwell are playing very well as a unit. They do need some strengthening. They need some experience in their secondary, but their front 7 have played very well.
Marcus, he busts it outside across the 12 to the 13. And he'll be shy of the first down, I believe, by about a half a yard. Nesby Glasgow ran him out.
The interesting thing about Marcus Allen is that he runs under control. When he runs those plays, he's running at about 80% of his speed. Now watch this here. He's running at about 80% of speed. Now look right there. You see that? Now all of a sudden he gets the defensive end to commit, and he pours it on around the corner. That is what makes him so great. He's always got that extra gear to kick it in when he needs it.
And it was just enough for the first down, Dave, at the 14-yard line. Now they split Barnwell to the top of your screen. Dave Casper in tight on the right. Casper in motion. Marcus to the 18, maybe the 19. Cliff Odom drops him. Well, the Los Angeles area has a couple of outstanding running backs in this part of the country. Of course, Eric Dickerson with the Rams, Marcus Allen here with Los Angeles. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. I'm Phil Stone along with Dave Rowe. First quarter is behind us. The Raiders lead the Indianapolis Colts 7-0. Second down and 5 from the 19-yard line. Wilson 5 of 8, 47 yards and a touchdown. That's Marcus Allen through the right side. On his feet, a first down at the 27-yard line. Preston Davis, the rookie out of Baylor, coming up from his left corner position to drop Allen.
Well, the statistics certainly must be in favor of the Raiders because they have just controlled the entire ball. Look at this. Well, they're not that much, but they have really controlled the ball. It seems as if they've had the ball the entire time with that opening drive where they got the ball back twice. But the time really doesn't show it, but they have dominated this first quarter. But they're only down. The Colts are only down 7-0, so it's still anybody's ball game right now.
Out of the I formation. There's the pitch to Allen. Sweep left. Allen moves that ball to the outside hand. Oh, he does that so very, very well. He is out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Again, it is Davis.
Well, the really great backs switch that ball over. They get it to the outside, and it's something that they can do so well.
Now, that's how important this game is for Los Angeles. They would love to go to 9-4 today and position themselves for the dash for the cash, as Dave Rowe calls it.
Well, the Raiders really know how to play football in this time of year. When it gets down to the end and they're going towards the playoffs, I think it's been indicative of their seasons the last few years. Of course, the year that we went to the Super Bowl, they just know how to play football when it's the time of the year like it is right now.
Oh, what a catch by Barnwell. A first down at the 43-yard line. Barry Krause on the stop.
Well, it just looks like Barnwell has glue on his hands. He just takes this ball, just snatches it out of the air. Watch it come into your picture, and look how outstretched he is. Just snapped that ball in there. He almost fumbled the ball and lost it, but now watch Leo Wisniewski, number 69. He has got to get rid of Dave Dalby, number 50. They've got 3 guys on him. They're just pushing him around. Leo, it's going to be tough in there against those Raiders.
Oh, Mickey Marvin, Dave Dalby, and Kurt Marsh did a number on him. Kenny King tries to go outside, finds nothing there, cuts it back inside, and a rookie out of Syracuse, Blaze Winter, tackles him.
That is really the story, though, of a nose man. That nose tackle that plays right down over top of the center, he has to be just like a fire plug or a tree trunk. He's got to be buried in there. He cannot be blown off the ball, and most times he's going to get those double and those triple team blocks. But Leo, of course, that man there, Blaze Winter, have played very, very well. They really have been the spirit of this Colts defensive team.
Second down and 8 from the 44-yard line. The split backs, Allen and King. Wilson will put it in the air. Unloads. Casper overthrows Dave at the 38-yard line. Preston Davis in the neighborhood. Nesby Glasgow had the best shot at possibly picking it off.
I'll tell you, I was watching Malcolm Barnwell run back. I didn't see anybody with him. You want to see what speed is like? Look at Dokie Williams here. That's speed. I don't think I can fall that fast.
Oh, what a game he had last week. You know, his senior year at UCLA, Williams only caught 8 passes. 4 of them were touchdowns. Not a bad average. 50% of your passes are for touchdowns.
They kind of threw to him at the right time.
Third down and 8. Wilson, no pressure. That's Dokie, and he cannot hold it. Eugene Daniel, the rookie out of LSU, was right in Dokie Williams' face. Whether he tipped it or not certain.
Well, he's looking back into a bright sun, which may be of some consequence to him, but he just did not come down with this ball. He almost looked as if he was gliding under it. He had a lot of time. He just dropped the ball. He just dropped it. There's no other way to say it. Dokie, you just dropped that ball.
Well, he had 5 catches a week ago. 16 on the year. Could not come down with number 17 there, and as a result, Ray Guy is on for his 3rd punt of the afternoon.
Watch the follow-through that Ray Guy does. It's amazing how high he gets his leg, the extension that he gets when he kicks the ball.
Ooh. And the end result, Anderson will let it sail into the end zone and out of the end zone. A 56-yard punt for that man. Over his 12-year career, Guy has averaged 43 yards a boot. That is absolutely astounding. Clock stops with 12:42 to play in the first half here at the Coliseum. It's the Raiders by a touchdown. There you see Seattle has extended their lead over the Denver Broncos 10-3 in the second quarter at Arrowhead. Here it is 7-0. Schleister, bootleg right, could run it. And he will run it. Out of bounds at the 28-yard line. A week ago, Schleister carried for over 50 yards.
Phil, we talked about the field being a big factor. It has not been the factor that we assumed that it would be. Look at the time that Schleister has. A short rollout. Now he just cannot pick it up. As you said, he had the opportunity to run. to run, and he did run. Look at that average, 11 yards.
11 yards of pop.
That's not bad. I'd run that every time.
I could put Peggle back in there, Herman and line Schleister up in the I formation. On 2nd down and 2, 12:35 play, first half. Dickie McMillan, the setbacks. The give is to Dickie, and he will get absolutely nothing. Rod Martin on the tackle.
Wow, that's quite an experience factor there. That's the thing that really tells the youngness of the Colts. 3.1 years average. Of course, the Raiders are a much older team, 7.1. But that's a real indicative thing of how little experience they really have, because they've got a couple players that have 6 and 7 years, and they're the senior citizens on the team.
3rd down and 1. That's McMillan. And he will be stopped short of the first down. Oh, what a play by the free safety, Van McElroy.
The Raiders felt that they could tell which direction the Colts were running in their pregame. I talked with one of the Raiders, and they felt that they had a good key or clue on the direction that the Colts would run by the lineup and shift of the backs. That's evidenced right there. They came up 3rd and 1. They tried to go wide. Van Elroy came up there, made the tackle. It's going to be a punting situation. If they don't know which way they're running, they sure are reacting very, very well today.
That's the 3rd punt for Ron Stark. It will come from the 29-yard line. There's Greg Pruitt at his own 30. Not a good punt. Fair catch by Greg Pruitt. A penalty flag is down on the far side of the field at the 29-yard line. A 33-yard punt for Stark.
Now, if you're a Colt fan, you're hoping that's an offside encroachment call. And if you're a Raider fan, you're hoping that it's somebody downfield, but we'll soon find out. They have a little huddle there.
And it is against Indianapolis.
It's the ineligible man downfield. They're going to decline this. They absolutely should decline it.
Number 57, kicking team illegally downfield. Penalty declined. 1st and 10.
And it is against Mike Humiston, special teamer, downfield a bit quickly. And as Dave said, the Raiders will decline it, take the ball at their own 38-yard line. The clock stops with 11:11 to play in the 2nd quarter, and Los Angeles holding on to a 7-0 lead over Indianapolis. Ball game, because yesterday it was USC and Notre Dame here. Mark Wilson across the middle. That is Barnwell at the 45, and he carries it to the 39 of Indianapolis. 24 yards, a first down for the Raiders.
Well, the crossing patterns will kill you every time. Wilson makes a great fake into the line here and really holds the defensive line in the secondary. And of course, you see Barnwell coming across. Just a simple crossing pattern that gets you into the flow. You're able to get across. There's no one can cover you man-to-man. That's the way to attack a man-to-man defensive game plan.
Now there you see the San Francisco 49ers going after win number 12. And they are on their way at the Superdome in New Orleans. Here in Los Angeles, 7-0 Raiders. First down, Los Angeles at the Indianapolis 38. Quick hitter, Frank Hawkins with a whole bunch of room to the 29-yard, and he is turned around there. The fences is there. Barry Krause is on hand, and so is George Radichowski.
As you said, it's a quick opener. Watch the movement in the middle. The quick block, the trap there by the guard. You can see 60 in there, the trap on the defensive end. It's a quick hitter. That will hurt you more than the longer developing plays. Those quick ones that just hit the line right away. They just get right into you, and boy, I'll tell you, they're in the secondary before you can even turn around. That's the plays that always bothered me the worst. I don't mind the long developing plays, but those quick pops.
10 minutes to play, first half, Coliseum. Raiders marching at the 29. There's Hawkins again. He is at the 23-yard line, and Blaze Winter brings him to the turf. First down, Los Angeles.
Bill, every running attack has what they call the point of attack, the place that you're running at, like the 5 hole, for example. Each hole in the line is numbered. When you make that cut and you're able to cut back against that grain, when the hole is stopped where your primary run is going to be, and you're able to make that cut back against the grain, and you don't have that backside pursuit, those linemen coming in there, that's where the holes really develop. That's where you break off the great big long runs.
Play action. Good block by Marcus Allen. Wilson rolling left. Has to unload in a hurry. Christensen has the football at the 14-yard line, and it should be another first down. What a splendid job Marcus Allen did, allowing Wilson time to roll left.
This is something that Mark Wilson is not used to do. Watch the block that, well, you don't really see it, but watch Mark Wilson here. He's not used to running. He's not a scrambling quarterback, but he really throws that ball well on the run. Christensen, when he saw he was in trouble, just came back into the center of the field, kind of put up his arms to make a big target, come down with the ball. That was quite a statistic. 92 receptions last year.
Yeah, and he had 59 coming into today's game. This afternoon, he is 4 catches for 41 yards. Now from the I formation, Casper is in motion. They'll go the other way. Allen to the 10, to the 7, and down there. Cliff Odom, the inside linebacker on the left side, the only man between Allen and the goal line.
It looks to me as if the Colts have decided that they're going to guess what's going to happen. They're shooting linebackers through, and they're not guessing correctly. You can see the holes that are developing. Great pursuit there, of course, by Odom, number 93, and the other players, but they're guessing on what they think the Raiders are going to do. They're not really playing right now solid defense. They're trying to shoot a linebacker through to make the big play, and they haven't guessed right yet.
Well, last week the Raiders were in this situation at the Kansas City 8 and never gave it to Allen. This time he has it and turns his way to the 2, and I believe he coughed up the football. But the officials say Allen was down at the 2-yard line, no fumble. The Raiders will retain possession.
That has been something that has really plagued them this year. 32 fumbles, they've lost 18 of them, and he fumbles this ball, but fortunately he was down on the ground before he fumbles. Yep, I guess he was.
First and goal inside the 1-yard line. Allen is now coming out of the game. Hawkins and Kenny King are the running backs. They do not punch it in. Hawkins stopped short. Allen shaken up, talking to Flores on the near sideline. He's all right, and here comes Allen back onto the field.
Well, this is Mr. Airborne, number 32, up and over. He's done it so many times in college, Heisman Trophy. I think half the time he spent in the air. Tremendous leaping ability. When he gets to the line of scrimmage and there's a pile, he's got the great ability to leap over top of the pile. Probably sometimes gets 4 and 5 feet over top of the pile down on the ground. Very rarely is he stopped on a play like this, if in fact he does get the ball.
Well, everybody in white knows who's coming. Question is, can they stuff it up? Oh, it's that beautiful. Casper.
Well, you said it. Everybody knew what was going to happen, and Marcus Allen did come over top, and he would have scored a touchdown. In fact, he got hurt on the play, but they didn't give it to Allen. They threw the ball out to Casper. Watch Allen come over top. There's the leaping ability. Draws the defense in. There's the pass out to Casper, number 87. But one of the big plays on this, or one of the key things on this, is that Marcus Allen is down in the end zone and evidently hurt himself on that play.
I think he landed on the top of his helmet, Dave. And there are 50,000 here at the Coliseum holding their breath as Marcus Allen is tended to in the end zone.
Well, they're in fact going to make a dash for the cash. They really need him. It has been so successful for the Raiders. So Marcus Allen up and over. You can see there the fake, but he comes down on his left shoulder, and he may have a slight separation. They're working on him on the sideline. And if they are, in fact, as I said, going to make the dash for the cash in this late part of the season, they really need the efforts of Marcus Allen. He is the heart of their offense.
Chris Bard tacks on the point after his second attempt of the day, and he has converted number 2. L.A. by 2 touchdowns.
Bill, we just got a report that it's a pinched nerve in his neck, and it's too early really to tell whether he's going to come back.
Chris Bard puts it in the air. Larry Anderson grabs it at the goal line. He's out across the 17 and down at the 18. Again, a flag is down on the far side of the field.
Boy, the Colts have started horrendous field position today. I don't think they've started outside the 15-yard line today. I think I'd just let the ball go in the end zone and start at the 20.
Now you look at Marcus Allen.
You see that fellow with the white hair there? He operated on me twice. I've got 2 railroad tracks on me from him. Bob Rosenfeld. He is the doctor.
You can bet Marcus Allen would like to avoid any of that.
Oh, boy. And you know the Raiders would, too.
There's the scoring drive for the Raiders. They win 61 yards. It took them 4 minutes and 53 seconds to get there. A 1-yard pass after the great fake to Marcus Allen. Mark Wilson to Dave Casper, his 35th career touchdown. I think it was his first touchdown as a Raider since 1980.
Well, that penalty that kept them so far back there was an illegal block. So they've started their drives today at the 15, the 12, the 20, and now the 7-yard line.
Out of the I formation, Art Schleister has not had much of an opportunity to show what he can do. That's Dickey. Gain of a yard, maybe 2. Now, Mile High Stadium, the Broncos, their first touchdown of the day. They had to get into the second quarter to get it. And they have tied the Seahawks 10-all.
Yeah, old John Elway came back with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Butch Johnson.
What a game Elway had a week ago, Dave.
That's right. 5 big passes.
Whoa. Second down now and 8 for Indianapolis. The give, quick hitter right up the middle. It is Randy McMillan, and Brad Van Pelt will let him get no place. He'll be lucky to gain a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
This offensive line of the Colts has been so much maligned. We talked about the severity of the injuries. Of course, the Hinton, Baldishweiler, Wade Griffin didn't come back. We've talked a lot about them, but they really have not blocked at the point of attack. They have not been able to blow the Raiders off, drive them back, and get that yardage. They've been stopped on the line. I bet they haven't averaged a couple yards a run on first down. And it's tough when you come out second down and 8-9.
Schleister, sideline pattern. Intended for Bernard Henry. And nothing there. So Ron Stark will be called upon.
Well, even though he didn't complete that pass, it still opens up the Raiders' defense. It puts them back. They realize that he will throw the ball long, but he threw it on the wrong side. Of course, I don't think there is a good side against the Raiders with of course, Lester Hayes on one side and Haynes on the other side. I don't believe there is a good side to throw into that secondary.
What the Raiders defensive unit has accomplished, Dave, is just about guaranteed their offense another shot at scoring. Greg Pruitt back at his own 46-yard line. Los Angeles should get the ball with excellent field position. Stark from 5 yards deep. Beauty. Oh, does he sail it? Fair catch. And Pruitt will let it go. Stark, whose longest punt coming into this ball game was 72 yards, sends this one 63 yards downfield. Stops the clock with 4:35 to play in the first half. Situation, 4:35 to play first half. Los Angeles on top of Indianapolis 14-0. And at this moment, anyhow, Marcus Allen will sit this series out. Greg Pruitt is in replacing Allen. Kenny King, the other running back. Play action, Wilson. That's Christensen, his 5th catch of the day. And it moves the ball out near the 34-yard line. Right now, let's go to New York for this update.
Oh, we were away. We had a fight break out, and flags flew from every different direction. The only problem with these fights is that it's always an offsetting thing. They call a fight on one side, they call a fight on the other side. They say, okay, it's offsetting, we'll play the play over. If they start a fight, then they should be penalized for starting the fight. Let's see what happens on this call.
Kurt Marsh, number 60, is being waved to the near sideline. Now, Gordon McCarter is going to say something to Tom Flores. I wonder if Marsh may have been ejected.
They may have thrown him out. If that is, that would be a real big change, because usually when they start a fight, it's one side fights and the other side fights, as I said, and they just throw offsetting penalties. But evidently, he's going to throw him out because
he's gone.
I believe that's it. Kurt.
Now, the Raiders are already shallow in offensive guards, Dave. They started the year with Hanna and Don Mosbar. They both went out injured. Kurt Marsh and Mickey Marvin moved into the guard positions, and now Marsh is gone in ejection with 4:20 to go in the first half.
I don't think he likes it. He's kind of yelling on the sideline. Of course, now, I guess they could throw him out of the stadium, take away his ticket, but he is upset, to say the least.
Let's listen.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 60 on the offensive team, after the play. 15-yard penalty, still first down. Number 60 is disqualified.
Well, as Dave mentioned a moment ago, normally situations such as those result in offsetting penalties. Not the case this time around.
He's right in the middle of your screen. You can see number 60 there in the back part of your screen. It didn't look as if he got ejected on that, but evidently he did something that the referee did not like, felt that he instigated the trouble, and they threw him out.
First down and 15 now for Los Angeles. Wilson going for Christensen. And does he take a shot? What a great catch at the 44-yard line.
You called it. He did take a shot. A pass pattern cross. It's what they call a post pattern. Run to the center of the field. Wilson lays it up, but watch the cornerback come into the picture. Number 29. That's Mark Kafensis. Excuse me, the safety. He really took a shot. Took a tremendous effort to hold on. That's why he's such a great wide receiver. When he touches that ball, he's got an instinct to hold on to that ball. That's what separates the bad ones from the good ones, or the good ones from the great ones.
Pruitt caught in the backfield. Johnny Cooks, tremendous pursuit. Cooks, who started his first 4 games at right end. Last year, Dave, he played inside. And this year, Cush has placed him on the outside on the left side.
Well, he had a great day last week. Had 3 sacks against the Patriots, even though they lost by such a large score. With this young Colt team, they've got some great players on that team. I mean, they really do. They've got the spirit to win. They're just going to take 2 or 3 years to really develop. And I just hope that the fans that follow them will just give them enough time to develop, because they are going to be a team of the future.
Second down and 14 now. Wilson will go down for the second time in this ball game. Johnny Cooks all over Mark Wilson. For Wilson, that is the 25th time, Dave, he has been down on his back.
What a great call by Frank Cush and his people. They really sold out. They went man-to-man coverage on the wide receivers, which is hard to do, and they sent everybody in the schoolyard. Johnny Cooks, Oldham, Barry Krause, Vernon Maxwell, they all came. They realized they have got to get pressure on Mark Wilson. They have got to upset him. There's number 98. What a specimen, Johnny Cooks. 4.5 sacks. He's increased that today. He's having a good year.
2 minutes, 39 seconds to go. Wilson play action, rolls right. There's Cooks again, and down goes Wilson again.
Well, he's certainly not hurting himself today. You know, the interesting thing about that, did you see the speed that he accelerated out there? I mean, he's a physical specimen, 6'4", 250 pounds, and his acceleration caught Wilson from behind. He's not supposed to run that fast.
Johnny Cooks made a living doing just that at Mississippi State. 3 sacks today. Cooks has 2.
He's taking a little breather. He's going to squat down. He said, boy, I'm tired. That was a tough run. But the acceleration that he has, outstanding acceleration.
Now this drive began out at the 34-yard line for the Raiders, and now they are back at their own 27. 4th down. Larry Anderson back at his own 29, awaiting Ray Guy's punt. And it's a good one. Should be a return for Anderson. He can run free from the 34. But great pursuit by the special teams of Los Angeles. A 39-yard punt, a 6-yard return, and a flag is down way back at the 32-yard line. That stops the clock with 2:22 to play in the first half. Don't forget, stay with us at halftime. We'll be taking you to NFL 84 scores and highlights from around the league.
What a crucial penalty. If in fact this is a defensive penalty, this could give them a first down, and they had 4th down and 27 or 28 yards to go. It's really going to be quite a call here, because if it's against the Colts, it is going to hurt.
And it is against the men in blue and white. And also coming up at halftime, Dave Rowe will have a chat with one of his old teammates, a guy they call the Twos. He's going to be up in our broadcast booth.
We always called it Tuesday.
Holding, number 48, receiving team, during the kick, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
That's an interesting call. That was what they call a post-kick penalty. In other words, the penalty happened after he kicked the ball. see if we see the holding call. I don't know exactly. Right? Maybe it's number 48 there who's holding. Yes, he's holding. See, pulling him down there. He's not letting him off the line. You'll see that referee should see him throw down his hand, throw down his flag. But anyway, it was a post-possession kick, so the penalty does not go against him as bad as it could have.
2:22 to play, first half. We'll be right back. First half, Bill Stone along with Dave Rowe. It is first down for Indianapolis.
First down has not been a good down for Indianapolis. They've only averaged 1.5 yards on first down on 6 running plays. They have got to loosen this Raider team up. They want to be competitive today. They have got to get out there and throw the ball, loosen them up, and get the running game going.
Schleister at quarterback, and this is the first pass on first down for the Colts today, and he will not unload it here. Dives ahead to the 25. Howie Long, who ate up the Chiefs last Sunday, doing a fine job on Mr. Schleister here with 2:08 to play in the first half.
The Raiders are going to call timeout. They're going to call timeout because they think if they can hold them here that they'll get the ball back in good field position. They call a timeout with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left. The 2-minute clock will call another timeout. So they, in fact, will have 2 timeouts. Watch Schleister step up in this pocket here. He's getting a lot of pressure from the outside. But the good thing is that the Raiders, for the Raiders that is, they react very well. They get the pressure, force him up into the pocket. They react back into the pocket. The 2 defensive linemen and 2 tackles come back inside and close off that run. Had he been able to get by those, he might have been able to run 10, 12, 15 yards.
Dave, we have talked all during the first half about Indianapolis's ineffectiveness running the football. If you are going up against a defense a la the Los Angeles Raiders, how do you go about trying to penetrate this defense? They've got the tremendous defensive backs.
Well, they need a play that will fool the Raiders. They need a reverse. They need some type of a run pass. They need something that will loosen them up. Right now, the Raiders are playing their game, and the Indianapolis Colts are playing right into their hands. They're trying to run at the strength of the Raider defense. They're trying to run at the front 7, and they're not getting anything. 1.5 yards is terrible. They have got to do better than that on first down.
And Art Schleister must do better than 2 of 6 for 25 yards, and we've almost got 30 minutes of football in the books. 3 wide receivers now for the Colts, yet they're going to run the football, and it is Curtis Dickey across the 27 near the 28. Clock continues to run. We are at the 2-minute warning, so the clock stops. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Colts when we return. The Raiders lead it by 2 touchdowns. The preceding announcement was furnished by the National Football League. Frank Cush looking over his play chart, trying to figure out, well, we've tried 9/10 of these things on this chart. Nothing has worked.
Well, Flores' guy, he doesn't have his hit chart because everything they've done has worked today.
3rd down. They're calling it 6 at the 28. Schleister, his 7th pass of the day. Unloads. A great variation. Schleister in trouble all the way. Matt Bouza had absolutely no place to go. He came back and made the catch. Clock continues to run.
What a great adjustment by Schleister, and a lot of pressure. Now watch this pass against the body, throws it in there. Now they're trying to get the hurry-up offense to see if they can get down and get a score.
Pressure. Schleister, the arm was going forward. A good call by referee Gordon McCarter.
Lyle Alzado about tore Art Schleister in half that time. He came around the backside. You watch from the right top corner of your screen. You'll see number 77 coming into your picture. And he was very fortunate that this ball was going forward because you'll see Mr. Alzado coming in there, number 77. Boom. That hurts. Now that's a questionable call. Did you think his arm was going forward?
I thought so initially on the replay, not so certain.
I was not so certain either.
2nd down and 10 now from the 41. 1:27 to play in the first half. Schleister inside handoff. That is Curtis Dickey. The Raiders just stuff it up. Greg Townsend. I tell you, they don't lose much when Howie Long checks out.
No, they certainly don't. They've got the backups to replace him. We're going to have a timeout here. The Raiders again are going to call timeout, see if they can hold. It's going to be 4th down and about 10 yards to go. So they're going to stop the clock to see if they can get the ball back, possibly for one more possession to get that field position and bring that ball back down and get another score. Well, the Raiders have really played the ball well on first down. You know, we talked about a little bit about when I was talking to some of the Raiders, well, one of the Raiders in particular, that I'm not going to mention who it was, but he said they had a real tendency on them. They thought they knew exactly where they'd run. They thought by the way the backs set up in the backfield that they could tell the direction and who was going to get the ball. And if they haven't, in fact, if that is not true, they have really reacted well to the ball. They haven't broken one run over 3 or 4 yards today.
You know, Dave, I remember several years ago, the Redskins were playing the Dallas Cowboys in a game. And I remember the Redskins at the time said after the game they had lost to Dallas miserably. And the Redskins said, or they should say they beat Dallas by a bunch. They said after the game that they knew when Robert Newhouse was going to get the football because Newhouse would not put his teeth protector in unless he was carrying the ball.
Those things are really important. Oh, look at that guy in the screen. Do you know who that is? Hello, John. How you doing, buddy? Good Lord, I'll tell you, he looked just as big as what he was when I was here.
We'll be talking to the twos at halftime. Schleister under pressure. And finally goes down as the Raiders just don't know how to quit. Greg Townsend, tremendous pressure. Davis finishes him off.
You talk about pressure. This is the life of a quarterback. He almost got a face mask there. That could have been a call. But look at the pressure. 3, 4 guys. Here comes another Raider. 5. You'll see the Raiders coming back into the screen. Boy, they are really putting the pressure. They are really rattling them.
58 seconds to play. There you see the time. First half. Stay tuned. NFL 84 at halftime. Scores and updates. And we will chat with John Matuzak.
You couldn't believe how dark it got in the booth here when he stood up in front of the lights. I remember many of those days. It was Tuesday in Oakland. What a great football player.
Now the Raiders scored in the first quarter following a fumbled punt by Larry Anderson. 3 plays later, they took it in from 15 yards out. 7-yard pass. Wilson to Christensen. And in the second quarter, Wilson again, another touchdown pass, and that is where we stand.
Phil, I think if the Colts can get into the locker room and regroup, they realize what they have to do. They have got to come out and drive the ball. They cannot keep on putting all the pressure that they're putting currently on their defense. They have got to regroup in at halftime, and they have got to come out and drive the football. They've got to control the tempo of this game. They're fortunate just to be down 14 points. It's not something that they cannot make up. But they're going to come after this punt, too, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on Mr. Stark.
Good snap. Stark end over end. And it takes an Indianapolis bounce and will roll dead inside the 17-yard line down near the 16. A 46-yard punt, and Ron Stark knew a bunch of black and silver jerseys were coming.
He certainly did. Watch the footing that he loses on the last, but boy, he has some pressure in front of him. 3 or 4 Raiders are in there. You can see him coming into your picture, and now he just loses his footing in the wet dirt, but boy, he was fortunate to get that one off. I hope he didn't hurt that ankle. He looks as if he's limping on the sideline. He probably hurt that same ankle that he's had a lot of problems with the last 3 or 4 weeks.
The 47 seconds to play. Dokie Williams, who had come on, is now coming out. Dave Casper is checking back in. Throughout the majority of this game, Dave, the Raiders have gone with the double tight end formation.
They certainly have. They've really felt that Casper really came in and played well for them. They're just going to drop on the ball here to run out the clock because they didn't get the field position that they wanted. Had they gotten the ball out towards the 35-40-yard line, they probably would have come up with a play. But Casper's blocked so well for him. There's another acquisition. They traded him off to Houston. He was gone for a few years. They brought him back, and he just has played outstanding football for them the last few weeks.
You go back to 1979, the Raiders carried 4 tight ends: Ramsey, Dave Casper, Raymond Chester, and Todd Christensen his rookie year. So that's going to do it as the clock winds down. There you see the time remaining. Neither the Colts nor the Raiders will call a timeout.
Well, they're going to the locker room happy in Raiderville, that's for sure. And the Colts are not out of this. They're a young team, and they have to realize it. I know they're dejected right now, but they have to realize that they can come back and score 14 points. They just have had no offense, and they put tremendous pressure on their
to begin as Chris Barr is on to boot it away back at their own goal line for Indianapolis. Phil Smith and Larry Anderson. And we are underway. It'll be Phil Smith bobbling at the 7. Has it. Turns it upfield at the 15, near the 18. And Indianapolis, on a kickoff return, David, has yet to bring the ball out past the 17-yard line.
I believe I'd let the ball kick all the way into the end zone. Look at those statistics. You won't see that very often. 66 total yards.
My goodness.
All that they could come up with in the first half. Look at the time possession, 18 minutes to 12.
That won't win you many football games in this league.
No, it won't. But the thing that's really surprising is that the Colts are still in this game. They're 14 points down. One big break, one long play. But you're not going to get it with 3 first downs.
Al Schleister, starting his second game in the NFL, is capable of the big play. There's no question. Dickie McMillan, the setbacks now out of the eye. Schleister on first down. Sideline. It is caught by the tight end, Tim Sherwin, but he was out of bounds. Did not have possession. Mike Davis on the coverage.
He actually was well in bounds when he caught the ball, started to catch the ball, but he bobbled it going out of bounds, and that was the call. Boy, those referees are right on top, aren't they? How about that?
There's that statistic Dave Rose spoke of in the latter stages of the first half. That is unbelievable. What a job the Raiders defense has done.
Well, the Raiders in that 34 defense, and I remember we started that with John Matuzak when I was here with Oakland. They were then the Oakland Raiders. It's such a commanding defense. You can get to the ball so fast, you can get 7 or 8 guys to the ball in a hurry.
That's McMillan, and he doesn't fool anybody. Lyle Alzado, Rod Martin is on the bottom of that pile. Dave, what is it about the Raiders' style of defense that keeps them right up at the top year in and year out?
Well, they play all out. It's epitomized by that man, number 77, his effort. He was supposedly, I hate to use this term, washed up. He was with Denver, had some great years, went to Cleveland, had a couple of great years, but then it was over for him. He came in here, and his attitude, the desire that he has, the Al Davis teams and the John Maddens and Tom Flories make it very, very exciting to play here. They really make it exciting to play football.
On third down and 9, Schleister released near side. It's McMillan. Tries to put a move on number 45, James Davis. Doesn't work. Shy of the first down. And here comes Ron Stark, sore ankle and all. Well, basically, the Raiders line up the way everybody else does defensively. But it seems as if the coaching, the scheme of things is consistent no matter who happens to be in the ballgame, Dave.
Well, they don't beat themselves. They play very tenacious defense. They're very aggressive. They intimidate teams. I used to think that our uniforms were worth at least 5 or 6 points a game. You know, the black patch over the eye, the Raider, the silver and black, it just epitomizes what tenacious defense is all about. And fortunately for their offense, they played very well offensively. They've really commanded the ball. They've driven the ball when they had to, and they've scored.
Pruitt on one bounce at the 28-yard line. Starts right, comes left. Look out! Tight ropes his way to the Colts 34-yard line. A 46-yard punt. What a return for Greg Pruitt.
A 46-yard punt with a 38-yard return. That's only 8 yards net. They only had 8 yards. But watch Greg Pruitt, another, and I hate to keep on using this, another reclamation project. Cast it off by the Cleveland Browns, and watch this run. He runs as well as anybody, and he's been doing this for 12 years.
Clock stops, 13:01 to play. We'll be back to the Coliseum in a moment.
Yards. He doesn't look like a 12-year veteran, does he?
Now, the last time the Colts allowed an opponent to return a punt for the touchdown was last year when Mark Clayton did it for the Dolphins, and Greg Pruitt almost got it done here. Kenny King. A little misdirection reverse. Leo Wisniewski, the nose tackle, came way off the center of the field to chase him out of bounds.
Great reaction by number 69, Leo Wisniewski. He's one of the young stallions that are going to play this game for a long, long time. He's having an outstanding year.
Kind of resembles Joe Nash in a lot of ways, the nose tackle with the Seahawks. Very active, very emotional, just likes to move around a lot.
Leo plays this game hard. Of course, he went to Penn State, my alma mater, and learned very well there.
Second down and 6. The ball at the 30-yard line. Raiders on the move. Wilson, short drop. Whoa, does he go down in a heap? Johnny Cooks, his 3rd sack of the afternoon. Vernon Maxwell also there.
That may be his 4th sack, but boy, Mr. Wilson better be glad that he ducked, because if he doesn't duck, he's going to get sandwiched in between 2 players. That's his 4th sack, Johnny Cook's 4th sack of the day.
Wow.
That's a half a career. I mean, a half a year, I should say, for most players.
Now that is 30 sacks on the year now for the Colts. They're 16th in their last 3 games. 4 down linemen again. Here they come again. Wilson steps up, and look out, down he goes. Johnny Cook. How many guys on the field, Dave Rowe, have a number 98 on their back? Could Cooks be that many places?
Boy, is he having a day today. Johnny Cooks, we talked about his acceleration. You see him jump through there now. He gets blocked. He wards off the blocker. He comes in here, and that's his sack right there. And watch Barry Krause going over the top, number 55. 5 sacks, and you know who has them all, don't you? Johnny Cooks, number 98.
Now that is the most sacks in a single game by a Colts player this year. And keep in mind, we still have a whole bunch of football left in the Coliseum this afternoon.
I wonder what the record for the most sacks in a game is by a player. I have no idea, but 5's got to be up there pretty close, because very, very rarely do you get more than 1, 2, maybe 3 sacks.
4th down and a bunch. Ray Guy is on to kick it away. He will be angling for the sideline. Question is, will he get it? Boy, he booms it out. And here comes the official up the sideline, and it is whistled out of bounds at the 7-yard line. The Colts cannot get a break. Ray Guy gets the job done. A 35-yard punt. We'll be back. The Colts' problems continue. Take a look at the average field position. The Colts have started at their own 15. The Raiders have averaged a start for their drives at their own 43. Great statistic. Out of the eye. Give to the eye back. That's Dickey. He moves it across the 10 out near the 12. A gain of 5.
I think he got 4 or 5 yards on that play on 1st down. That's the first. That'll up their average a lot. But they just are bringing up 6 and 7 yards on 2nd down. It's really presenting a problem.
This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Raiders and the NFL is prohibited. On 2nd down and 6 now from the 12. Indianapolis trying to move. Now this time the right tackle, Jimmy Mills, is up a bit early.
Well, he was going to throw it, though. That's one thing about it, Phil. We got to say that. He was going to throw it. I always love that, how they mention your name whenever you do a play. They'll always say, you know, illegal start, number 76, Jim Mills, who just happens to be from Hawaii, 2 years in the league.
Now for Art Schleister, as we said, Dave, at the outset of our telecast, the field conditions would certainly not favor Mr. Schleister, and this only his 2nd start in the NFL. But quite frankly, the game plan, Frank Cush and company, has not favored Art Schleister.
Oh, it hasn't, because they've never established the run, and he hasn't had the ability to pass. When you pass your best is when you don't know when the defense doesn't know whether it's going to be a pass or run. Right now, all they're doing is unloading on Mr. Schleister. They're just taking off on the ball. They're just disregarding the run because they have not established it, and they are just running right down his throat. That time he was barely able to get the ball off before he was sacked again.
Now Greg Townsend leading the charge. So now it is 3rd down and 11. And the Raider defense, for the 2nd week in a row, has played sensational football. Last Sunday, I was here doing the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. They shut out Kansas City until the final minute and a half. This week, they are working on still another shutout. 14-0 L.A. Schleister's numbers not impressive. Art now at time. Sideline. No. Out of bounds. Tracy Porter making a mistake that a young wide receiver will make, not knowing where he was on the playing field.
He certainly did. As he made his break, he was only 4 yards from the sideline. And Lester Hayes knew that he couldn't get the ball to him in time. But it's going to bring up the situation again that we've talked about. Terrible field position for the Colts and tremendous field position for the Raiders. They're going to get the ball inside the 50-yard line.
Take a look at that score. From the Metrodome in Minnesota, Chicago leads the Vikings 27-3 third quarter. Looks like
The axe
going to eat a little late turkey.
You think Bob Costas will let him get away with that pick?
No. Bobby will be on him next Sunday. And if he's not, I'm going to call Bob tomorrow. Make sure he is. 4th down, Stark is on. Pruitt at the midfield stripe. And what a punt. Very high at the 47, fumbles the ball. And Pruitt covers it. At the Indianapolis 48-yard line. A 46-yard punt. No flags are down. The punt will stand. And the Raiders, for the umpteenth time today, have excellent field position.
Well, you can see how bad the sun is in their eyes. They just cannot focus on that ball. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Vision Network. For the first time since midway through the second quarter, when Marcus Allen was shaken up, he is back in the ball game. Wilson going for the flag. Cliff Branch, and he overthrows Branch at the 5-yard line.
That would have been his 500th catch if he had caught that ball. What a great player. I'll tell you, he's probably one of the greatest speedsters to ever play this game. He's got 499 receptions. Look at that. Look who's ahead of him. Old Freddie Blitnikoff, 589. I played a few years with both those guys, and boy, they just were a tremendous tandem. Blitnikoff, Branch, of course Casper coming out of the tight end, and Stabler used him like you play a piano.
Out of the eye, here's Marcus, sweep right. And he is grabbed around the ankles by Mark Kavensis. He dropped, but not before Allen moves the ball to the 45-yard line. Well, when you talk about Cliff Branch, you also talk about that 1972 draft for the Raiders, Dave. Draft where they picked Mike Ciani as their first rounder, and then went after a guy by the name of Cliff Branch and Dave Dalby, both 4th round draft picks, and they're still around.
Well, we haven't mentioned old Double D, number 50 in the middle. You know, everybody on the Raiders had nicknames. It was really kind of fun when we were there. Number 50 has played an awful lot of years, 13 years out of UCLA. Boy, he has played steady football. Only the second center to ever play for the Raiders, start for the Raiders. The other one being, of course, Jim Otto.
Marcus Allen almost a circus catch at the 33. Nesby Glasgow knocked it away, so Ray Guy will come on.
Watch Allen come out of here. He can do so many things. You just can't cover. There's the fake that he makes. He almost catches this ball one hand. He is, look at that. I'll tell you, he has a talent that very few people are blessed with. I'll tell you, he can do it all.
Saw him take that foot and move Glasgow right over the top. So Guy is on.
Well, he was a wrestler in college too, probably, and that was a single leg takedown. I said he can do everything.
Anderson, Larry Anderson, back at his own 10-yard line. Colts showing 10-man rush. Here they come. They won't get close. As Guy end over end. Anderson, fair catch at the 15-yard line. Downs it there. So the clock stops with 9 minutes, 51 seconds to play in the third period. The Raiders continue to lead the Colts 14-0. Say, join us next week for an
80-yard pass. He just threw a 64-yard pass to get Seattle back up 17-10.
First and 10, Indianapolis at their own 15-yard line. That's Dickey. All day long. Same result. Lyle Alzado in Dickey's face. You know, Schleister, Dickey, McMillan, Butler, Tracy Porter, Tim Sherwin, the entire offense of the Indianapolis Colts, Dave, have to be wondering what the middle of the field looks like. They've not been there all day.
Well, they're averaging about 1.3497 yards per carry on first down. They just have not been able to move anybody on that defensive line. The Raiders are playing as if they've got 7 or 8 people up front. They've only got 3 down linemen.
Play action, Schleister freezes the linebackers, delivers to Porter, overthrew him, running right step for step, Michael Haynes.
Well, we talked earlier about Schleister, and of course his problems. Everyone knows his problems, and I don't want to compound the fact of what happened, but boy, he has come a long way. You just have to give it. When somebody has as much that went wrong with him as it did, it's just amazing that you can come back and have a great attitude. And they said he has not avoided any of the press. He's answered every question. He's got a support group with this problem, and they really help him. You just have to admire somebody that comes back.
Well, of course, the problem we're speaking of, Art sat out all of 1983. A league-imposed suspension for gambling. And you're right, Dave. He has done a marvelous job of coming back. Schleister up the gut. Cuts it to the 24 and down to the 25. Nearly a first down. But he will be stopped short by Otis McKinney.
Schleister's under tremendous pressure. He has nowhere really to go. The only thing he can do is step up in that pocket. It's collapsing around him, and he almost makes the effort. Look at number 71. That's Piquel coming in there and making that tackle just to save that first down.
Say what you will about the Oakland defense, and it is a very, very good one. But honestly, Dave, to be totally fair about it, Schleister does not have what you would call quality wide receivers in which to pitch to.
Well, they continually jam the wide receivers. Every team that I've seen play Indianapolis has jammed their wide receivers. And when you have a wide receiver, the speed that Ray Butler supposedly has, and his best day this year, he's caught 3 passes. And Tracy Porter, his other wide receiver, number 87, his best day, he caught 4 passes.
Second punt in a row. Greg Pruitt, his muff, the 39-yard punt. This time, Pruitt pounces on it at the 40. But as Dave Rose said the last time he coughed it up, the sun is incredible right now. Clock stops, 8:06 to play in the third quarter.
Well, that's quite a smile she has. Well, what else could I say, Phil? Her name's Bonnie. She lives at no.
From the 40-yard line, the Raiders will take control. 8:06 to play in the third quarter here at the Coliseum.
Well, the Colts really need a turnover. They need a fumble. They need an interception. They need something to happen and happen soon.
There's the quick hitter right up the middle. Kenny King has it. He doesn't get much before Leo Wisniewski drops him at the 43-yard line, a gain of 3. Well, you're right about that. The Colts, they can't rely on any kind of a return to get the ball in decent field position. They just about have to have a turnover to get the momentum shifting.
Well, very few teams have the ability to drive 80 and 90 yards, and they do not have that ability, and they've started, as you said, inside their 10, 15-yard line all day long. I don't believe they've had the ball past the 50-yard line today.
On 2nd and 7, Wilson with time. To Marcus. He gets one hand on it and cannot come down. Right now, let's go to New York for the update on this game. 7 minutes, 25 seconds to go here at the Coliseum in L.A. The Raiders have made 2 touchdown stands. It is 14-0 L.A. Wilson. Christensen. It is intercepted. Barry Krause. His 3rd interception of the year. And that is the turnover we were speaking of a moment ago, Dave.
That is the big play. Barry Krause, number 55, has had such an outstanding year. This ball is just a very poorly thrown ball. He's got a man-for-man. Wilson falling back, just laid the ball up there. Krause comes down with a big interception. It was kind of like, used to call those lame ducks. You know, when Stabler and those fellas used to throw them like that, we'd go quack, quack, quack. And Krause caught himself a duck. It must be hunting season. But there's a little bit of happiness here with the Colts.
Well, that's the Colts' best field position of the day. Their own 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Schleister will try and get Indianapolis on track. Tracy Porter in motion. He is being tailed by Lester Hayes. The give comes near side. And there is nothing there. Dickey picks up 2 yards, believe me, on pure athletic ability.
He certainly did. He was hit about 2 yards back in the backfield. And had he not had that great leg drive that he has, he would never have gotten the 2 yards that he got. But that's a big accomplishment on 1st down because it's only 2nd and 8 instead of 2nd and 9.
Dave, considering that is the best field position from which they have begun a drive, 1st down at their own 44, little surprise Schleister didn't put that ball up in the air.
I was waiting for that. I thought for sure that he would come out and just throw the ball. Let's throw everything to the wind and let's see if we can do something.
Well, that's what happens when you put yourself in 2nd and long. Everybody knows what you're going to do then.
Sure, 2nd and long is a known passing down. Everybody knows it. The defensive line, they just put all the weight on their hand. You can see Howie Long. He just blows in there and just drops Schleister. But everybody knows it. I remember when I played, you'd get down and you had that 2nd and 9 yardage situation. You knew it was a pass. You forgot about the run because the run wasn't going to hurt you. They had to pick up 9 yards to get it. You put all the weight on your hand, no weight on your feet, and you just take off, rushing the passer. That's what they did.
Clock continues to roll. 6 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the third quarter. Phil Stone with Dave Rowe, the Coliseum in L.A. It is 3rd down and 14. That's Matt Booza in motion. Well, Mills got up a bit too soon. Or was it Ted Peterson? I believe it was Ted Peterson. So while we wait, let's go to New York for another update. Boy, they are seeing a great ball game at Mile High. But, of course, I think everybody that follows football in the NFL knew that game was going to be a barn burner.
Well, I really feel the cream of the conference. Of course, we talk about Miami, but you go with Seattle, the Raiders, and, of course, Denver, and you've got 4 teams. Any one of those 4 teams that could win the division, win the entire Super Bowl. And I think the winner of the Super Bowl will come out of there.
Slater will not get away from Greg Townsend. And Ray Butler, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to see it. Ray Butler simply stopped and watched Schleister scramble. You can't do that.
No, absolutely not. When your quarterback starts to scramble, as we will see with Schleister, what you do, the great receivers, they try to get open. You just have got to move around. You've got to put your hands up and wave, say, here I am, throw it here. You've got to be a target for him to throw to. And as you said, they just stopped. Everybody stopped, and Schleister had nowhere to throw the ball. He had to so-called eat the ball. Well, let's see if Mr. Pruitt put on some sunglasses and can field this one.
Stark. Pruitt, fair catch at the 15, looking into that sun again, and again he drops the ball. It is loose. Will it be whistled down? No, the Colts have the football at the 1-yard line.
Still the lonely life of the punt returner, let me tell you. It's either the penthouse or the outhouse. In this term, it's the outhouse. Because he fumbles the ball for the 4th time. He's trying to fair catch the ball. He's backpedaling. He probably should have just allowed it to go over his head. Now watch the shot he takes right here. Boom, that's great hustle right there by number 30.
Larry Anderson.
Larry Anderson really came down there. They recovered the ball. And for a team that has totally dominated another team, the Colts are back in this game. They score this touchdown. They've got 1 yard to go. Anything can happen in this ball game, and I'll guarantee you, right now the Oakland Raiders have really tightened up on the sideline.
Well, a backup center, Don Bailey, recovered the loose ball. 1st and goal, Indianapolis. First play, that is Randy McMillan, and the Colts are in the end zone. 5:42 to play in the 3rd quarter, and turnovers. They have haunted the Raiders all year.
Well, they certainly have plagued it. I think that Randy McMillan, when he got up here, said, where am I? I must be somewhere. I made 4 or 5 yards, but I only get credit for 1. But they're back in this ball game. It's 14-7. Anything can happen. And as I said, everything on the Raiders sideline, they have completely dominated this game. But the Colts never quit. That's one of the points that we made early. This is a young team. They've got the emotion. They've got a lot of players. You mentioned Blaze Winter. He's just one of them. Wisniewski's another one. Barry Krause. They've got several on offense. They really just have the spirit to go out there and play, and they never have given up. They're only down 7 points.
What a job Ron Stark, the holder, did getting that ball down for Allegre. We'll be back. 3rd period. Dave, if you're a member of this young Indianapolis Colts ball club, as you look at the Chicago score in the 3rd period, this has to be a tremendous shot in the arm.
Oh, it certainly is. They've been out of this game almost the entire game. We've talked about their offense not controlling the ball, and now all of a sudden they're in it. And we're going to see a different Colt team right now because their defense is going to come out and try to hold this Raider team. And if, in fact, they do hold them, it could just be a totally different ball game.
That's Toki Williams. That ball, when it hit, it just stuck.
That's because it's so muddy down there. That ball just dropped. But then they do a tremendous job on this field. I just never thought this field would hold up like it did. It's in just excellent condition compared to how bad it was yesterday.
They were ankle deep in mud yesterday this time. The Trojans and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
By the way, that was a great picture that you had of that hair dryer on the field here. That what do they call that, helicopter?
Call that a whirly bird.
A whirly bird. Oh yeah, it's great to be from Carolina.
5:32 to play, 3rd period. Los Angeles 14, the Colts 7.
Probably the biggest series of the game for the Colts. This is the series they have got to hold.
Marcus, flag is down on his feet to the 28. If it's holding against the Raiders, big trouble for L.A.
Almost assuredly holding. In that position, when he throws that flag, that's the position of the line judge, the field judge calls, the back judge or whatever he is in there. That is his call, holding.
All right. If you're in the defensive huddle for the Colts, would you blitz here? Would you take the chance? Would you gamble?
No, I don't believe I'd gamble. What I would do is I'd try to tell my defensive linemen as we watch this holding.
Number 79 offense. Repeat, first down.
Bruce Davis.
Bruce Davis, right. But what I would tell my defensive lineman is get off. Don't worry about the run. We've got first down and 15, 16, 18 yards to go. Don't worry about the run. Just get off the ball, get pressure on that quarterback in case he passes it.
3 down linemen. The give is to Allen. The Colts penetrate well, but Allen turns the corner.
He may have a sore neck or a sore shoulder, but he didn't have any sore feet. The Colts lose containment on this. There's the glide we talked about. Now watch the acceleration outside. Boom, he pops it outside, and you can see everybody standing inside. They lost that containment. He's down the sideline, picks up 30 yards, and, boy, they're out of trouble.
Last week against the Chiefs, Marcus had a 42-yard run. This is his second longest run of the year.
Well, there wasn't a bigger run than that one right there. That was the biggest run he's had today.
That's Hawkins, and he is stacked up at the 34. Clock continues to run. We are at 5:09, third quarter.
You talk about stacked up. That was a crunching tackle. When you see both feet come off the ground, you know that that's a crunch. There's Barry Krause, number 55. Watch him move in here. I'll never forget the tackle that he had. Look at those, both feet off the ground. I'll never forget the tackle he had against Penn State in the Sugar Bowl. Stopped Penn State on the 1-yard line. Alabama ended up winning the Sugar Bowl. What a tremendous player.
Krause was the MVP of that Sugar Bowl. That was 1979. Here comes Marcus. How does he do it? To the 41, maybe the 42. First down yardage for the Raiders. Leo Wisniewski and Krause again.
We
talk about Krause. Go back to 1976. He was the MVP of the Liberty Bowl.
He's the MVP of this team too on defense. He has played exceptionally well. Not very often do you have a linebacker that has 125 tackles. He's averaging 11, 12 tackles a game.
First down at the 41.
Somebody wiggled.
And when you hear a whistle and it stops the play, you know it's against the offense. Ball start on Mickey Marvin, right guard, 8th year out of Tennessee.
Well, Mickey's my old buddy. He's from North Carolina also. You'll see him on the left of your pictures. That's just a little wiggle there a little bit early. What a great guy. He is a tremendous person. I have a great admiration for Mickey Marvin.
Who did you room with when you were with the Raiders?
I roomed with George Fogg Beeler.
George Beeler.
From Stanford University.
Always in a fog.
George invariably would always ask one time during the game, what's the snap count? Bill, you asked how does Marcus Allen do it? That's how he does it. The balance that he has is just extraordinary. Another 13-yard run, but watch the balance. He gets hit here, never loses his footing. His body is always upright. Look at that balance there. You just don't find athletes that can do that.
Marcus played both ways at Lincoln High School in San Diego. He was a defensive back and a quarterback. And in a San Diego CIF championship in high school, he was accountable for 5 touchdowns. This is Frank Hawkins through the right side. And he has a first down at the Indianapolis 47-yard line. Cliff Odom on the stop.
The Raiders have really driven this ball well, and they've done what they do best. They control the ball. They don't make mistakes. That one little interception, that fumble on the punt, those were big plays against them, but they have come back and played Raider-style football. That's what they're known for. The big offensive linemen drive the ball, just use up the clock. It continually ticks while you run that ball. Just control the tempo of the game.
Out of the eye now. First back through is Hawkins. He dives across the 45 near the 44. Well, we have spoken in such glowing terms about the Raiders defense all day. Kudos to the Indianapolis Colts defense, with the exception of that fumbled punt down at their own 15-yard line by the Colts. Really, the Indianapolis defense has played tremendous football today.
Oh, I believe I echo those sentiments. I think they played an extraordinary game. Their defense, they just have been on the field all day long.
Yes,
they haven't been off the field. They've been trying to hold them. They've had terrible field position, and they have really done a job today. They're playing excellent football.
That's Barnwell. He is down at the 39-yard line. It will be short of the first down. Should be 3rd down and 2, maybe 3.
That sure was close to a trap. Looked awfully close, but he sure picked his hands up in a hurry. So I guess the referees are a lot closer than we are, so they saw that it was a legitimate catch.
Now Casper is coming back into the ball game, number 87. There you see the first down. The Raiders with 16, the Colts with only 4. But as the Colts defense has stretched a great deal, it has not broken. Now out of the eye, that's Marcus the eye back. Colts jump, free play for the Raiders, and it is Wilson who takes the busted play short of the first down. But they'll pick it up on the penalty, I believe.
That's the voice inflection. What you do is most teams snap the ball on 2. Watch Wilson's head. He yells it out. There. See, that's the call. Most teams snap on 2. You saw the hut real loud. It threw the defense off sides. Dalby saw it, snapped the ball, and they pick up a free 5 yards. And the first down.
And the big first down. You know who used to be so great at that was the man who is now one of our compatriots with NBC, Bob Greasy. Made a living doing that in Miami.
I hate to tell you this, but he got me a couple times. Oh, I could have strangled him. I think I could have pinched his head off one game. I jumped off sides 3 times in a row. I think that may be an NFL record, too.
That's Casper in motion. Double tight ends. Quick opener. That's Frank Hawkins. Runs right through the tackle of Barry Krause. Krause is the one who got him off balance. And he ran right into Cliff Odom.
The Colts are coming off the ball so hard right now that the Raiders are using an angle play. What they're doing is they are driving the ball. They're taking the ball, and they're going through the hole on an angle, and they're getting the holes that are lateral holes rather than straight up and down holes, straight ahead.
The Raiders have run 16 more plays than the Colts, yet they only lead by 7. 42 seconds left, 3rd period. Hawkins will get nothing, maybe a yard. Barry Krause again is there.
And they're almost in Chris Barr's field goal range. Another few yards, and they're going to be well within his field goal range.
Yeah, they're still mixing it up at Mile High. Seattle and Denver deadlocked at 17. Now there's a look at what is transpiring coming into this ball game. Denver 11-1, Seattle 10-2. The Hawks would dearly love to win this one and climb into a first-place tie with Denver in the AFC West. The Raiders needing a victory to stay in line, perhaps, for a shot at the playoffs. Into the 3rd quarter. LA 14, Indianapolis 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. The 4th period set to begin here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. It is 14-7, Raiders over the Colts. I'm Phil Stone along with Dave Rowe. Now the Colts did not appear to have much, appeared to be pretty much dead meat all day long.
Well, they came back with a spark, though. They recovered
sure
that. They recovered that fumble, and if they can hold on this 3rd down, it's going to bring up a possible field goal situation. They're going wide, though.
Marcus strung out, turns the corner, has the first down, and is out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Clark Defensis had a shot at him short of the first down and could not turn it in. Glasgow finally bumps him out.
The player that really made a mistake on this play was number 27, Preston Davis. When he came up to force the play, it's his responsibility. He has got to turn this play back in because all the pursuit is from the inside. You're going to see him come into your screen, but he doesn't get the outside position. Consequently, Marcus Allen is around the corner, picks up the first down. He has got to force that play, what they call outside in. He's got to turn the play back inside.
A first down now at the Indianapolis 20. Hawkins, Allen, the setbacks. Allen has the pitch deep. Can you believe it?
Oh.
Just when you think you have seen it all from number 32, he amazes you once more.
All the Colts are pointing back about 3 or 4 yards saying, I thought he was down back here. He looked as if he was, but we talked about the balance. He certainly has it. Boy, oh boy, he's got all the tools. I think he'll be around for quite a long time.
Frank Cush, his club 4-8 on the year. Marcus Allen, 16 carries today, 107 yards. Busted play, Wilson. Nothing at the 14-yard line.
Bill, you talk about a tired defense. I wish you could see when the Colts are lining up in their huddle. Most of them are bent over trying to get their air. They are really tired. They got hands on their hips. That's a sure sign that you're tired. Anytime you put your hands up on your hips, you're trying to get some deep breaths, and you can see how tired they are. They have really played a long game today.
And they have played very well by and large.
Yes, they have. They played spirited, and they played hard, and they have not quit.
13 minutes and 35 seconds to play in this ball game. The Raiders up by a touchdown, 14-7. That's Casper in motion. Christensen's open. Wilson can go for it all.
Gets into that end zone on tremendous pressure. The Colts sold out on the blitz. Once he broke through, there was nobody there.
Well, since he took over for the injured Jim Plunkett, Dave, Wilson 3-3. A lot of people around the L.A. area begin to question whether the former BYU guy could really get it done on a regular basis for the Raiders. And I think the jury is still out in a lot of people's minds.
Well, it is, but he has really been hampered by an injured thumb. And an injured thumb to a quarterback is a major injury because you just cannot grasp the ball. You just cannot throw the ball solidly.
So the clock stops once more. 13-18 to play. Raiders 21-7. Next Saturday, it's WBA Junior Middleweight Championship scoring drive. It took them 7.5 minutes to negotiate 80 yards. A 14-yard run by the quarterback, Mark Wilson. And Barr sets it sailing. That is Anderson at the 1-yard line, and he's coming.
Oh, boy, he's got some room.
And he ran right into Chris Barr, who brought him down short of the 40-yard line. A 37-yard return for Larry Anderson.
He just broke wide of the secondary. Everybody was coming in the middle. I was surprised. I was just about to say, I wish he'd let it go in the end zone, but he breaks wide. And aren't you glad that you have a kicker? Only thing that Barr is trying to do is just trying to slow him down. And he did, enough to get the tackle.
1st and 10. Indianapolis at their own 38-yard line. There are the statistics. Look no further than the time of possession.
It's hard to believe 87 total yards against 230. But the story of the day has been the receivers. They haven't caught anything.
Indianapolis receivers have caught a grand total of 3 passes. Schleister unloads, make it 4 passes. Ray Butler, his first catch of the day. Checked out, it is Tracy Porter, his second catch of the afternoon.
And it's the first pass that they've thrown on a crossing pattern coming in. Most of Schleister's passes have been out patterns to the wide receivers making out routes towards the sidelines. And that's the first pass that he's thrown across into the zone or into the crossing part of the field.
They give up the middle. That is McMillan. Brad Van Pelt breaks him down. Now Seattle, who has never trailed in this ball game, leads Denver now 24-17. Craig, his 3rd touchdown pass of the day, Dave.
Guess to who he threw it to.
Wouldn't be number 80, would it?
Number 80, Steve Largent. Who else?
Now Largent, I understand, has 180-plus yards receiving. How does that guy get it done? You guys had a fella here for the Raiders that did that.
Well, I tell you, they always say that the only thing it takes in this game is really discipline. It doesn't take the great speed. It takes discipline, and it takes concentration, just like on that play, because we had just talked about how the wide receivers hadn't caught the ball, and there comes Ray Butler up with a 15-yard pass, but it was a big pass, great concentration, and keeps his feet in. Watch his feet on this. Let's see if we can see his feet drag him bound. He has to get his bat. There they are. Look at that. Well, what great camera work by our crew.
Well, it's a camera crew, an NBC camera crew who worked throughout much of the night to get the cameras in position to bring you today's game. You'll recall another network did the USC Notre Dame game yesterday, so they had to break down and NBC had to set up. There's the give. Big hole Dickey inside the Raider 25 near the 24. Plenty of time left in this ball game. 11 minutes 41 seconds.
Still, it looked almost as if the Colts have taken a lesson from the Raiders. The things that have worked against the Colts just worked against the Raiders. It's the first slashing type of run that they have run. Not the old, just a standard handoff. That time he gave a fake into the line. They hit the hole. They hit a lateral hole where one lineman is deeper than the other man, and you have a hole through there. Colts have changed their offensive philosophy. I hope it's not too late.
Dickey ran right into Howie Long.
Well, just as I say it, they go back to the old standard. It's a straight-off handoff. There's no deception in it. You give that ball off, and everybody can see the handoff. The thing that they had just done so well is they had handed the ball off on a slashing. Now, there's no deception in this. There's no block at the point of attack. Look at Howie Long. Has he got anybody playing over him today?
Well, the Colts' offensive line, quite frankly, has been beaten all day.
Well, you got to call it. You got to tell the truth. They have not controlled the line of scrimmage today.
3rd down and 5 from the 27. Schleister, look in. Butler, intercepted!
Glue on his fingers, that's all you can say. When you're lucky, I'd rather be lucky than good. Watch this pattern. It's just a quick fake in the line. He's trying to hit Butler across. He bobbles the ball. You can see the ball up. Look at the concentration by Haynes. Just turns around. He's got the ball just like they have glue. They have such soft hands.
A 24-yard return by Haynes. The Raiders are in business. 21-7, 10:23 to go in this ball game, and this is what the Raiders are playing for. Dave Rose Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, well, it's a thrill. I wear it proudly. It was one of the highlights of my career, and I'll never forget what the Super Bowl meant to me. It was one of the highlights all time. You just don't get those great moments very often.
But do you actually consciously think about the Super Bowl this time of year if you're a Los Angeles Raider?
Well, yes, because that's the epitome of what sports is about. I was good enough to be in a Super Bowl for 10 years, but my team I was with wasn't.
Well, the Raiders have the ball at their own 42-yard line. It is 1st down.
You can tell how humble I am, can't you?
There's the draw. Marcus Allen moves it out to the 44-yard line. Right now, let's go to New York for the update on another game. Oh, did you hear that? Bill McAtee says Largent, 11 catches, 183 yards.
Best day of his career. Couldn't have it on a bigger day.
That's Casper.
That's the Goose.
2nd catch of the afternoon, and it's a 1st down at the Indianapolis 42, a 13-yard gain for the veterans.
Well, the Ghost has got to be happy. Dave Casper, number 87, just finds an open spot, turns around. Wilson throws the ball in there. No pressure. That's what they do so well. That last drive, when they drove 80 yards, that was the answer to this whole ball game. When they have to score, they have to drive the ball. They're able to drive the ball 80 yards to score.
You go all the way back to the 60s. The tight ends have always played a big part in the Raiders' success. Remember Billy Cannon?
Oh, boy, how about Raymond Chester?
Raymond Chester. There's Kenny King, and he is wrapped up and down. Donnell Thompson and Mark Kafensis. But you go back to the 60s, you're talking Billy Cannon, then came Chester. How about Bobby Moore out of Stanford?
Oh, sure. We used to call him BM. I remember an interesting story about him. We went in to play Pittsburgh, and there was such a crowd around there, and he got hit in the head the night before the game and didn't play in the game the next day. Evidently, some policeman had told him that he couldn't enter the hotel, and he said, "I'm going in. I'm one of the players," and he whap, hit him.
2nd down and long. That's Allen, and he will go down. Vernon Maxwell, 2nd year out of Arizona State. Maxwell known more for his pass rushing ability. Oftentimes will line up for the Colts as a 4th down lineman.
Well, 240 pounds, he can line up as a lineman and be almost a legitimate lineman, because 240 pounds, and 7 sacks. That's a lot of sacks. I don't care what position you're playing.
I think when the Colts look back at 1984 and wonder what went wrong, you need to look no further than their inability to sign their #1 draft choice, the defensive back Leonard Coleman out of Vanderbilt.
Well, that certainly hurt them, because they had actually legitimately wasted a choice on him because he didn't sign, and you have got to sign those real quality players.
Wilson, here he goes, and the Colts will drop him again.
Now that's
their
Johnny
6th
Cook.
sack of the year.
I was going to say, if that was Johnny Cooks, I was going to have a heart attack, but way to go, Leo. You did a great job. Watch Leo Wisniewski. Never quits. He's on Dalby, number 50 there. Just keeps on pushing back. Dalby's got a hold on him, and Wisniewski just keeps on driving back. Leo has tremendous leg strength. He's going to be a great player. And what an attitude. You just don't find a finer player than Leo Wisniewski.
6 sacks today, the 3rd week in succession that the Colts have sacked the opposing quarterback a half a dozen times. Ray Guy is on his 7th punt of the afternoon. And that is Larry Anderson back at his own 10-yard line. He has one outstanding return today. It came on a kickoff. End over end. Anderson at the 11. A 38-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Stacy Torn, the rookie, drops him at the 21-yard line.
Talk about the footing, and the footing on Ray Guy. Look at the expression on his face as he slips, and then he's lucky he didn't hurt himself. When a punter is so vulnerable, when he's got that leg up, you can see he's limping around. He evidently sprained his ankle pretty severely on that, but 41 yards isn't bad, Ray. You had a good day.
Here come the Colts. They're down by 14 points, 6:56 to play in this ball game. Schleister has gone all the way for the Colts. Chase unloads. Pass intended for Randy McMillan. Jack Squirek. What a job. And Schleister's not happy.
And he shouldn't be happy. He barely had time. I thought Squirek was in the play because he just comes blowing through there. You'll see him from the left part of your screen. And if 32 hadn't been out here on the screen pass, that would have been... Oh, they did call... Wait a minute. They did call that grounding the ball. That's a surprise because he did almost get the ball out to him. I think they may have called that a sack rather than calling grounding the ball.
He was in the grasp is the official terminology.
Will you ever forget the play that Squirek made in the Super Bowl and with 8 seconds left in the first half against the Washington Redskins?
Second down now and 25. Schleister with time. Crossing pattern. Oh, what a catch. Ray Butler. A flag is down. Another flag goes in. A tremendous catch by Butler.
Where has he been all day? Because this is obviously going to be a pass interference on the defense, but where has Butler been all day? Why couldn't they have thrown this pass in the first, second, or third quarter? It's an excellent catch, tremendous catch. That's just a play that you want to have in the first, second, or third quarter. They haven't thrown to him.
Well, I have an idea why that play worked. That time, Butler, instead of standing around, was moving.
He certainly was.
Pass interference, number 32 on the defense. The pass interference will be accepted at this spot because the completed pass is still short of a first down. The pass interference makes it automatic first.
Well, they don't. 32 is Marcus Allen, so I believe they probably mean 22.
Yes, they did. It is Mike Haynes who is jawing with the field judge or the umpire.
Let's watch this play. There's the interference across the face mask. He obstructed his vision, so they're going to bring the play down, and of course it gets the Colts out of field goal. I mean, out of poor field position. Hey, how about that Seattle score? They're coming on strong now.
And keep in mind, Dave, those two teams will lock horns again in 2 weeks at the Kingdome. First down. Schleister with time unloads. Ball batted at the line of scrimmage by number 75, Howie Long. Well, Schleister, we said it at the top of our telecast, would have a tough time with the Raiders, and he certainly has.
Well, you ought to see how dirty his uniform. He's got the dirtiest uniform of any player out there. Oh, San Francisco's in a squeaker over New Orleans, huh? And there's another squeaker.
Chicago will yawn all the way to the bank after today's ball game against Les Steckel's group. Here at the Coliseum in L.A., it is 2nd down and 10 for the Colts. 6:18 to play in this ball game. 21-7 Los Angeles. That is Dickey. Dickey, as Dave Rose said at the first quarter, not a healthy running back.
Had an awful lot of problems. In fact, we talked about the scope, and the scope was start. But anytime a running back such as he, with his great speed, great acceleration, when they're nicked, it's a major injury. A defensive lineman can play out there with a hamstring pull, and it really doesn't affect them that much. But it's almost like a thoroughbred. You take a thoroughbred and have anything wrong with him, and he's not going to perform. And that's what's happened to Curtis Dickey. He obviously has some type of physical problem, because he's a much better running back than what he has shown today.
Schleister on 3rd and 8. Look out. Safety blitz. Mike Davis.
Well, they got everybody in the schoolyard coming after Mr. Schleister. Just nobody blocks Mike Davis, number 36. Think he's not happy?
That's
Watch
the 4th
him.
time Schleister's been down this afternoon.
He's coming from the right of your screen. You'll see nobody touches him. Piquel was in there, too. He could have made the tackle. Boy, oh boy, they're trying to roll out to get a little bit of that pressure off them, but right now the Raiders are just lowering the boom on them. They're just coming after them.
Lee Montgomery is now in to return punts for the Raiders. After 3 fumbles by Greg Pruitt, I suppose Tom Flores has seen enough of number 34.
Yeah, but the sun has gone down. We've got the lights on here now. Maybe the light will get in his eyes.
End over end, Lee Montgomery at the 44-yard line. Dives to the 48 and is down there. A 36-yard punt, a 5-yard return. Clock stops, 5:03 remaining, and the Raiders will have the football when we come back. Question, Dave, is have they played well enough today to take on the likes of Miami and Detroit on the road?
Well, they've dominated the game today, but I don't believe they would beat Miami with the performance they have today. And it'd be awful tough. Detroit has come on, played very well. And of course, that Pittsburgh rivalry is always there.
Intercepted. The Colts will get it right back. Intended for Marcus Allen, but the rookie out of LSU, Eugene Daniel, his 4th interception of the year.
Boy, the fans that are here did not like that play. Wilson was under a lot of pressure, and he just lays this ball up. It's a poor thrown ball. He gets nothing on it. He's just throwing it up, and Daniels just circles underneath it, and it's an easy catch. I think I might have been able to make that one.
For Mark Wilson, Dave, his 2nd interception today, his 13th of the year.
Well, Frank Kush can't be upset with his defense. I think they've played their hearts out today. They just haven't gotten anything offensively going. They just have nothing going. But look who the Colts have got to play. They also have to play that Miami team. They've got a shot at Buffalo. They've got to play Miami. Anything can happen, and they've got to play New England.
4 minutes and 55 seconds to go in this ball game. Each team with their 3 timeouts remaining. Schleister scrambling. Howie Long. And down goes the Ohio State All-American.
Bill, that's a defensive secondary sack. That's what you call that, a defensive secondary sack. They covered the defense of the wide receiver so well that Schleister had nowhere to throw. He rolled out, and he had nowhere to throw the ball. Howie Long, number 75. What more can you say about him? Just great pursuit. They've got a twist in the middle. He breaks out. Now watch how long Schleister is running out here. Piquel is after him. 91 is after him. Boy, he had nowhere to go.
2nd down and 19.
You see 4 Raiders in that picture and no Colts.
From the 9-yard line, Schleister has been on his back 5 times today. Wilson has been sacked 6. This time Art unloads. Intended for Butler, nowhere in the neighborhood. A flag is down way back at the goal line.
This is going to be I believe this is going to be an interesting call, because I think the referee called him for a personal foul on the quarterback. He took a swing at the quarterback just as he threw the ball, and I believe it was number 53, Rod Martin. He doesn't like the call, but once that quarterback is back in that pocket, you cannot take a free shot at him. Now, Rod's up there saying, no, I didn't do that. My goodness, all I was just trying to do is rush him. But he took a swing at him, and it's going to cost him.
Roughing the passer, number 57 to the head of the quarterback, 15, automatic first down.
And that is the Raiders' 9th penalty for 97 yards. 4th quarter, look at Denver still coming back. The Broncos have never led in this ballgame at Mile High.
I don't know if that's as much a defensive struggle as it is an offensive struggle. They are just one score, and it just looks as if the one who's going to get the ball last is going to make the big play.
There's a first down for Indianapolis. A big gain out to the 35-yard line. Curtis Dickey. Right now, let's go to New York for this update. Gene Lang's second touchdown of the game for the Broncos. There's a pitch right over the top out to the 43-yard line. It is Tim Sherwin. He is hit instantly by Mike Davis. For Sherwin, his first catch of the afternoon. You talk about the Raiders being such a tight end-oriented offense. Such cannot be said for the Colts. Their tight end really doesn't figure much in their offensive scheme.
It certainly doesn't. We've got Mike Davis, by the way, is hurt on the play. He came running back across the field and all of a sudden just decided to sit down. But right now the Raiders are willing to give that 12 to 15-yard pass, and they're not willing to give the bomb. So they'll let them dink it down the field, so to speak, but they're not going to let them give up the big play. But Mike Davis, in their dash for the cash that we talked about, he really plays a big part. Let's see if we can see what happened to Mike Davis. He'll be to the left of your screen. Let's see what happens here, whether he just loses his footing or what. There he is. There's Mike Davis. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think he just came down hard. Now he runs across, and then all of a sudden he knelt down. It's good to see him up walking around.
3 minutes and 32 ticks remaining here at the LA Coliseum as the Raiders go after their second win in a row after dropping 3 in a row. There's a final. The Bears over the Vikings 34-3 in a game that Axe picked the Vikings.
You know, we talked about Largent having this great day for Seattle. Do you know that Craig has over 400 yards passing today? That's quite a stat, isn't it?
I'll tell you one thing. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to find it difficult to breathe this week because they have to face Seattle next week. Stacy Torn, the rookie out of Notre Dame, is now in for Davis. Schleister rolls left, comes back right. Looking for Butler, and the flag is down, and it'll be called, I believe, against Lester Hayes. And this, my friends, could be a big call against the Raiders. And they're waving them downfield. It will go against L.A.
That's going to be a 35-yard penalty on Lester Hayes. Now, Lester's pleading his case, but he guards the defense. He guards the wide receiver so close. He just has the uncanny ability when he makes that break, he can just turn around. Now, they might have called this offensive interference because he's cheering out there, so I don't know what they're going to call it.
All right.
That might be against the Colts.
We are picking up the flag. No interference because the football could not have been caught under any circumstances. No penalty.
Oh, boy, I don't agree with that.
No, I don't either.
I don't agree with that. They call that an uncatchable catch. They're saying the ball was too far out, but that ball bounced inbounds.
Well, what you don't know, Dave, is if it could have been caught had Butler been allowed to run his proper pattern.
Right. He may have been able to come back on his pattern and catch that ball because he has the right to get that ball. I don't agree with that call, but of course I'm not a referee. But it's hard to believe that they determine whether a ball is catchable or not, even though there's interference. Now there's the ball. Now there's interference. If that ball didn't bounce that far away from him, if I was Frank Kush, I'd be kind of gnawing on his ear a little bit, that referee that made that call.
So it is now 3rd down and 2 at the 44 instead of 1st and 10 inside the Raider 25. Dickey strings it out. And oh, what a job Mike Davis did. Coming off the leg injury, back in the ball game, and he takes Dickey out of bounds, way short of the first down.
Now's the time to throw the run pass, the reverse, something to break the momentum that they have going here. They are just not doing it on offense. They are totally inept on offense. They cannot run the ball against this Raider team. That's proven. And I think right now it's about time to abandon the run and start going to the pass. It's the only thing they've had any success with.
Well, it is 4th down and 2 now at their own 44-yard line. And the offense is still on the field for the Colts. 3 minutes even to go in this ball game.
Well, they have to go for it if they have any chance whatsoever. They have to get this. But now's the question, what do you do? The Raiders just know they're going to run the ball, but he's going to fake them out and pass it.
Oh, what a catch. Dickey has it. And he tight ropes to the 23-yard line, and they wave him out of bounds there. What a catch by the 50-year veteran out of Texas A&M.
Bill, you will not believe this catch. He turned completely around as he caught that ball. Watch this play. Everybody thought run, including me, 4th down. Now watch, Schleister has great touch on the ball, drops it in, but Dickey turns completely around. To see he had turned the other way, he brought that ball down. That was amazing that he was able to get that ball. Just amazing. And what a big play. That was kind of a gutty call there for Art Schleister.
A 34-yard gain, and now the Colts have arrived at the Raiders' 23. 1st and 10, Indianapolis, 2:52 to play. Schleister avoids Paquel, but the ball is batted at the line by Sean Jones, I believe. Pass intended for Tim Sherwin.
Well, if we get a score here, we may get an onside kick. This may be more exciting than what we think. There's a man who wants to see this touchdown, Frank Cush.
Now Schleister has done a fine job today. The game plan coming in was to run the football down the throats of the Los Angeles Raiders, and Frank Cush stuck with it by and large until midway through the 3rd period, when he allowed his young quarterback to put the ball up. That's Tracy Porter in motion. Schleister on 2nd and 10. Pressure, unloads and overthrows Porter. Schleister pressured. Jack Squiring. Rod Martin was in his face, and Schleister's limping a bit.
Anytime you blitz as many men as the Raiders are blitzing right now, you have got to have somebody get open. The Colts are not having anybody get open. That time Schleister had nowhere to throw the ball. When you have 2 linebackers blitz up the middle, you have got to have one of the tight end or wide receivers break loose, a running back come out of the backfield. Somebody has got to be open. They've got to break. They got to be able to get open in man-to-man coverage in order to play football.
Schleister, 8 of 22, 110 yards and an interception. 3rd and 10. Underthrows the coverage. Tim Sherwin, the tight end, has it, and he is out of bounds for Sherwin, his 2nd catch. We would like to welcome those viewers who have just joined us. The Colts and the Raiders still in progress. It is Los Angeles 21, Indianapolis 7. Immediately following football coverage, we'll join Silver Spoons in progress. In addition, all remaining bad day Silver Spoons. All of that tonight right here on NBC. 4th down and 4. A last gasp for the Colts. Schleister unloads, and it is tipped at the 2-yard line by Mike Haynes. Great pressure by Greg Townsend. Came down with the football, but the Raiders will take over with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play.
Schleister has absolutely nowhere to throw. Look at the rush by the Raiders. He's got 93 in his face. Rod Martin's coming up. He has nowhere. He just lays it up and hopes and prays, and it falls right down to the ground. That's the hopes of the Indianapolis Colts today.
Well, they're down 21-7 with 2:30 to play, but by and large, it was an Indianapolis Colts defense that gave up a lot of yardage. But when you consider the fact how long they have been on the playing field, it is remarkable that the Colts were still even in this ball game. And what a job number 10 did.
Oh, he certainly did. He is tired young man. Look at him there. He's leaning over trying to get his breath. But I'm going to tell you one thing that happens. I have seen amazing things happen in football games, and I would not count this game over yet. I know all the statistics, the rushing yardage and everything, but believe me, anything can happen. 7 weeks ago, I was in a game with Pittsburgh, played Indianapolis. They never quit, threw a 56-yard pass with 20 seconds left on the clock and scored. So anything can really happen.
Number 2.
Well, the Colts, you talk about them never quitting. They've just called a timeout now, down by 2 touchdowns with 2 minutes and 22 seconds to play on this ball game. Now for Frank Cush, he thought it would be a sensational year for his Colts. Last year, they came back after going winless in 1982 to win 7 games. And here in '84, I think he felt with Dickey, McMillan, with a tremendous offensive line, that would be a ball club that would just run the ball down people's throats.
Well, he has a great grasp of what's happening on his team. I have a great amount of respect for him. I think he's probably one of the most honest coaches. When you go up to talk to him and ask him what's wrong with your team, he tells you. He's very, very open, very, very cordial and nice. And he just said, right now we have a lack of talent in some skilled positions. We need to solidify our defense in the secondary a little bit. We need to come up with some offensive linemen that are going to get experience and are going to have skill to block. He's a very, very outspoken man, and he's been under a lot of pressure this year.
2nd down and 8. That's Hawkins again. And he will carry out across the 28 near the 29. A first down as the clock stops with 2:16 to play. Well, basically, Dave, I mean, you play defense. By and large, you blitz for 2 reasons. 1, to gain a defensive superiority, or 2, to cover up a defensive weakness. Cush said to me early this year, in the case of his ball club, it is the latter, to cover a defensive weakness.
Absolutely. They have got to blitz to get pressure on that quarterback, to not give him time. You'll find the better defenses in this league will play very, very solid defense. They don't do anything to cause themselves any difficulties. They play solid defense. They play man-to-man coverage. They play some zone coverage, but up front they play hard, and they don't need the blitz. The blitz you'll either win by it, or else you're going to lose big by it.
Hawkins through the left side out to the 35, but a flag is down, and that again will stop the clock with 2:09 remaining.
Going to be illegal motion on the Raiders. Someone moved obviously in the backfield, so it's going to bring it back and make it first down to 15. But unless the Colts are able to get some type of a break here, a fumble, which of course we talked about the Raiders being famous for this year, leading the league in fumbles and fumbles lost.
Illegal motion, number 38 offense, repeat first down.
But unless they get a break, it's going to be a little bit academic. That penalty be just academic.
Now Seattle with a 3-point lead, just over a minute remaining in that ball game, and the Broncos have the football. So all is not over at Mile High.
It's one of those ones where whoever has the ball last has the opportunity to win.
2:09 to play here at the Coliseum. 21-7 Raiders. Again, it is Hawkins, and he is stopped at the 25-yard line. I want to thank our sponsors today, Tim Tallman and Shep Goldberg, our statsman, Dennis Mnuchin. Well, we have now reached the 2-minute warning. Here comes another one of those fantastic finishes on NBC.
The Wizards of NBC don't only keep you up on a game like this, we're keeping you up on the Denver-Seattle game. And as I understand, Carlos is coming in, and he's trying to field goal from about 39, no, not even that far, probably about 25 yards. There's only 39 seconds in the game.
2 minutes to go here at the Coliseum. The Raiders on 2nd down and 15. The pitch. That is Chester Willis, and he will get nothing. Barry Krause slams him to the ground at the 26. And again, Indianapolis will call a timeout. Well, there's the situation. Seattle leading Denver 27-24. Word is Rich Carlos has hit the upright from 20 yards away. The ball did not bounce through. Seattle will take the football, and they have a 3-point lead. What a way to go home to the Emerald City.
Boy, oh boy, don't you know there's happiness in Seattle, Washington. A 20-yard field goal. It's hard to believe that you can play 59 minutes and 30 seconds of football, have it come down to one little kick. It hits the upright, takes the bounce away, and they miss it.
Next week, Denver will roll on into Kansas City. And the following week, on December 9th, San Diego is at Denver. And on the last week of the season, it will be Denver at Seattle.
That makes an interesting story. Another Denver at Seattle.
Yeah, so the final wild card spot could go down to the final weekend of the season. So assuming everything stands as they presently sit, Denver and Seattle would be deadlocked atop the AFC Western Division. The Raiders would be 2 games back at 9-4. San Diego and Kansas City will sit out this postseason dance.
Well, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Kansas City is. They got a bus and they bought 40 tickets for the players.
That's Chester Willis. A flag is down. It will be against, I believe,
I'm going to say Barry Krause with a face mask. How's that?
I think you're right. Or Vernon Maxwell.
That's one way to get your name mentioned, Barry.
So again, that will stop the clock with 1:46 remaining. Well, at this moment, we want to reiterate what we told you a moment ago. If the score stands in Denver, and it is likely to stand just as it is now, 27-24 Seattle, the Hawks and the Broncos deadlocked at 11-2 atop the AFC West, and the Raiders 2 games back at 9-4.
Let's watch this face mask penalty because this is interesting. There's 2 different types of face mask penalties. You get the first one like that, which is just the inadvertent one, 5 yards. And then the second one is one where you really just rip off his head. Do you know who made the face mask penalty really famous? Do you know what they made the face mask penalty after? I'm going to really throw a trivia on you.
Jack Tatum.
Dick Night Train Lane.
Dick Night Train Lane.
Boy, oh boy, what a name.
That's Chester Willis. And again, the Colts defensive unit knocks him down. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Wiseman. The coordinating producer of NBC's football is Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast has been produced by Jeffrey Mason, directed by Mike Warner. Our technical director, Lou Sawinski. And gentlemen, a job well done. Well, it is a final from Denver. Seattle has defeated the Broncos 27-24. Rich Carlos hitting the upright with less than a minute to go from less than 20 yards away.
Don't you know, I guess that's the life of a field goal kicker. You either make it or you don't make it. I always thought kickers were strange. I'll give him a
flag is down. Guy gets it going. Anderson on a dead run at the 34. Will try and get up, but he won't go very far.
I was going to clear it up on Rich Carlos. It was a 39-yard field goal. So we'll just move him back 19 yards, but it's still a very makeable kick. That's only kicking from, what, the 25-yard line, I believe. That's not very far.
It's a chip shot for most field goal kickers in this league. But you've seen him miss from a lot closer than 39 yards. So Anderson very slow in getting up. 39 seconds to play on this ball game. Indianapolis down 21-7. The outcome is really not in question here.
Well, he catches this thing just about on a dead run, and I think he more stumbles than anything. Might have hyperextended a little bit of his knee. But he got up, and then all of a sudden then he gets hit. There's 3 guys down there to greet him.
On the 40-yard line, first and 10.
I don't think he's very happy. He just threw down his helmet.
Well, Schleister is back on.
Well, now it definitely is airtime, and here come the Raiders. They've dropped into their 1-10 defense. That's 1 man up in a line and 10 guys deep because they don't want to let any big plays.
That's Tracy Porter. He is hit instantly by Otis McKinney. Clock running. Colts trying to get things rolling.
By the way, I think Mr. Axthelm was right. He said take 15 points in the Colts, and
yes, he did.
I think he may have squeaked out. So, Pete, congratulations, you picked the biggie.
Well, there you see Schleister. He will get 1 more play, possibly 2.
Frank Cush is yelling out there. He wants somebody to come off the field. I think he was a little bit upset that time that Porter missed that catch, so he just told him, come on off of there if you ain't going to catch the ball.
Now, the Raiders thus far today, David, finishing with 278 total yards, under their weekly average of 335. And as you said earlier, they will need a better performance than they have shown this week to tangle with the Dolphins a week from today. Schleister steps up, waiting for somebody to scramble free, and he will not unload it. Does he get hit? Rick Ackerman, the former San Diego Charger, acquired 2 weeks ago, knocked Schleister down hard.
He took 12 seconds on that ball. There was 19 seconds on that clock when the ball started. And when he tackled him, there was 7 seconds. So he took 12 seconds standing back there trying to find somebody open.
Now the Colts with a grand total of 155 yards of offense. The pass intended for Bernard Henry, and he cannot come down with it. 1 second remaining. Schleister on the day, Dave. 10 completions, 26 attempts for 125 yards and 1 interception. Mark Wilson, on the other hand, 13 of 24, 146 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Well, in fairness to Schleister, he really has had an awful lot of pressure coming towards him today. I mean, he really has been under the gun all day long. They left their defense on the field much too long. They never came out and sustained or really established a running game, and that's been the big story. They could not run the ball. They came up every time second down and 9 or 10 yards, and I think they're just going to wipe that last 1 second off the clock. I don't know. Maybe not, but it looks as if everybody's milling around there, and they're saying, well, what do you want to do? We ought to have one more play, at least have one more real long throw.
Well, there will be one play remaining. Schleister still on the sideline. And this will do it. That's the end of this ball game. The Raiders took control early. Mounted a 7-0 lead. We'll be back in a moment.
A promotion.